That was just good timing. Yeah, welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name's Peter Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. This is a DLF live stream, I guess. I don't know. How you doing? We'd like to answer all questions Dynasty related or even not Dynasty related. To be honest, drop any comments or questions you have in the little comment box on whatever platform you have to be listened to. I'm joined tonight by Tacit Assassin, Zach Reed from the Dynasty Dummies podcast. It's his birthday today. Just saying. Throw us some cake or something. And who's the other guy? Dynasty Outhouse, Russ Fisher from the Trade Addicts Empire. As usual, every Wednesday. I don't know. I'm just kind of here right now. How's your week going? Got some huge feedback going on there, boys.
I hear have an air conditioner.
No, it's gone away.
Less feedback. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gone away now. Awesome.
Yeah, that's how we start a show.
Yeah. Wait. Anyone got a microphone now? Yeah. How you doing? What's new?
It's Zach's birthday. That's what's new.
Zach's 23 years old today. That's pretty exciting.
He looks so cute for 23.
Yeah, I haven't been. I didn't have hair at 23 either, but I haven't been 23 in quite a while, fellas.
He's matured well. Anything new with you? I'm doing that European EFFC4 draft, which has been fun.
I don't know what that is.
It's a European version of the Scott Fish Bowl. I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We just finished up the Boston Live Scott Fish Bowl draft, and I made a panic pick in the last round because Julio Jones got taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it gives everyone an excuse for Russell Gage. I think we should be happy about it. We've already got questions, which is nice. That's pretty cool. Zoltzberg, how you doing? Appreciate your time, gents. No problem. Thanks very much. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. Would you like Waddle or Ayuk and Travis Etienne? Etienne makes it closer, but it's Waddle pretty easily. I'm trying to write up a very short list of these is who I think I want to target heavily, and it's really difficult because the breakouts aren't it this year because of their value, and I don't know. And Waddle's one I want to put on the list, but his value's rough, man. He's drafted in the top 12. He's drafted pretty highly and consistently in the top 12. I have managed to get the trade done once, but Waddle's the answer in most trades for me. Although Etienne's, and I think Ayuk's a little undervalued, but
that to me is the trade that you send if you have Ayuk and Etienne to try to entice the other guy, because it looks like Ayuk is a pretty good buy low. Etienne, everyone's telling you he has top 12 upside. He's right on the cusp of top 12 running back right now, but it's still a top 12 wide receiver who is 2 or 3. Like that's the guy I want.
Yeah, I was trying to write it up, and it's like normally I'd side with the veteran who's been a consistent top 12 player, but like Waddle's already a top 12 player, so I don't have to have this conversation. Like they're both already broken, so I'm good. I'll just take the guy who doesn't make my stomach churn a little bit, and is also younger. It's cool.
But wait, go back to that for a second. So let's say Waddle does, like he fulfills his ADP of a top 12, and let's say Ayuk gives you around like wide receiver 15 to 20, and Etienne 10 to 15 running back. Which, like, if you know those are the outcomes, do you still say Waddle? Like guaranteeing that like top 12 wide receiver to, I could get a wide receiver 1 and running back 1, but chances are it's probably closer to 15 to 20. Like, do you take those 2 solid wide receivers with a little bit of the ceiling, or do you just say, okay, just give me Waddle?
Especially 12 team, I want the horse. I want Waddle. I want.
Yeah, you just want the back. You just want that tier at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be more. It's going to be more valuable to my team because I think I can make up whatever I'm missing with the rest of my roster, as opposed to, yeah. I mean, I guess it's, as always, it's a little bit team dependent, but by and large, it's Waddle, man.
Also, so many good team names could come from that. Paul asks, I imagine someone with wit could come up with one. Don't ask me what it is. I can see the look in your eye, Russ. You're like, what team names? I don't have any wit. I imagine someone with wit could come up with team names using the name Waddle. Okay. Paul Cicero, if you spawn large or in living color, everyone here wins 2023 first rounders. Just tell your commish I approved it. Sorry, Paul, we all just kind of stared at it for a while and then went on talking about Waddle. So I get there we go.
I like that show.
Joel, I don't know the reference.
In Living Color was an old sketch comedy show with the Waynes, the older Waynes, and James Carrey.
Joel, Arthur, what?
AJ Brown.
Is that what AJ stands for? I did not know. Or a 23 first and Juju. First and Juju for me.
Yeah, I think so.
Using the Waddle theory we just created, we probably should go AJ Brown, but I
am still a little concerned about AJ Brown in Philadelphia. I'm a little concerned about AJ Brown overall. I know the 23 first is going to be worth what a 23 first is worth next year, which is a lot.
That's what I do. If in doubt, side with the value.
Yeah. Give me the swing on Juju. Plus, I know I'm not going to lose value.
I think the value's AJ Brown.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the right choice, but I think the value is AJ Brown.
I think AJ Brown and 23 first are real close. Am I wrong? What was Breece Hall this year? Where did Breece Hall? And again, this is the way I value 23 first, because anything past the 102 for me is not even a question this year. I take the 23, and even Hall is. I'm close to taking the 23 first.
In Superflex. Superflex, yes. I'm in the trade analyzer values. AJ Brown is 561.8. I know a random 23 first is 384.
Right, see, but my it would be AJ Brown, but it's an injury concern with AJ Brown, and that makes me less like I don't know what to do with that. I do know the 23 first will be worth more in the year, and so I side with 23 first
604. Sorry, I found it and I got excited.
So AJ Brown right now in Superflex ADP on DLF is going one spot behind Breece Hall.
Okay.
So to me, that's not like AJ Brown and a 23 first are not that far off in my mind. And it's not everybody's mind. This is me like getting granular. But like, man, I'll take the 23 first because I think it's going to be worth more than AJ Brown next year. And I'll take Juju.
You see that diving catch he made in practice?
I did not, but I think people are sleeping on. Peter did his list of wide receivers. I just did a show. It's now 2 weeks ago because it's like the open bar where we're never late, always on time, but it's the Dynasty Dummies. Like we occasionally release shows all the time, and.
It makes
I just did that, and like Juju is one of the players that I'm targeting because I think people are low on Juju. Cortland Sutton is a player that I think people are low on. There are a couple of teams, and Denver and Kansas City are really obvious examples where the receivers are being discounted and they're going right next to each other in ADP because nobody knows. So it's like Juju, Sky Moore, it's Sutton, Judy. I think that there's going to be a lot of production out of players in those offenses. I really
would you give a 24 first for Cortland Sutton?
Yes.
Well, you guys said that very quickly. It was like a lengthy discussion.
I think Cortland Sutton. You heard it here first, people. While you're listening in on our conversation and we're ignoring your questions, I think Cortland Sutton is a top 12 wide receiver this year. This is the Cooper Kupp thing that Peter and I did last year. It's the Debo thing that we did last year. It's the Hunter Renfrow thing that we did last year. Like, I am going and acquiring all the Cortland Sutton I can now while he's wide receiver 30 in Dynasty, because he won't be when the rankings come out for scoring.
For this trade in particular, I think AJ Brown is a problem. Like I said, he's wide receiver 8 right now, drafted in the late 3rd round in Superflex. The very next wide receiver in ADP is DK Metcalf, and I think we'd all be like, yeah, sure, the first and Juju for DK Metcalf. And after that, you get Tyreek Hill, and I think we'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, Tyreek Hill for that. It's AJ Brown's upside pretty decent. Russ is looking at me like, nah, don't speak for me.
No, I agree with everything you said.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I wasn't trying to speak for you. Even the wide receiver before AJ Brown is Stephon Diggs, and I probably wouldn't.
Well, that's an age thing. That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. So I probably wouldn't do that. But, like, it's in the right range. It's just AJ. We like AJ Brown. So I'd rather it be someone else.
I love this next question from Joel because it ties into exactly what we've been talking about. What's Breece Hall's value straight up for a wide receiver? And it's like, it's right in that neighborhood. It's Diggs, it's AJ Brown, it's DK Metcalf. It's right in that neighborhood.
Diggs, Adams, Waddle, DK. Yeah.
Go trade him for T. Higgins and just smile.
By the way, this is also a good range to look. Like, this is where Mike Andrews is drafted, which is why I'm just very quietly not a fan of Mark Andrews right now. Like, I like Mark Andrews a lot. He should be that tight end they got again, but like, telling me you can get those guys even in Superflex. I mean, we got a little crazy on tight end and quarterback. Tight end, yeah. I think the hype of Pitts is just. You know, it's not going to be Travis Kelce anymore, so everyone's going to be Travis Kelce. It's like, no. No problem, Joel. Thanks very much. Alan Davis, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Alan. J. Mike, I've heard of him. I know that guy.
J. Mike.
Happy birthday, sir.
I love you too, brother. I do.
Skull, which I believe is a Minnesota thing. 1 QB, 12-team PPR. I traded Waller, McLaurin, 22-second and third, and a 23-second Conklin. Where's the 4 here? Am I missing?
Keep going. Cooks, Andrews, and a 23 first.
Cooks, Edwards, Brian Edwards, I guess. Alex Collins?
I have no idea.
Devontae Foreman? Like, no, a lot of these players shouldn't be in a trade.
Yeah, we could just ignore the rest of that.
Yeah, I think it's just, let's see, Waller, McLaurin, a second, a third, and another second for Cooks.
It's Andy Edwards, the guy I went to high school with, Susan Collins, a senator from Maine, and George Foreman, not the boxer, but one of his sons.
One of the juniors.
Yeah.
One of like the 13 of them, yes.
That's got to be Dalvin as well, not
I really hope
no,
that
that's Cooks. Well,
it's better be Dalvin.
Then you need one Cook.
Yeah.
Cook, Andrews, and a 23 first.
Well,
I'd rather have Andrews than Waller. I would rather have the first than McLaurin.
Yeah.
And if that's Dalvin, I'd rather have Dalvin than all of that mess.
Yeah.
So yes, win Skull. Skull.
If
and
that's
it's got to be Dalvin Skull. We're doing the
there was second too many.
I like it if it's just for the sake that it's a simple aside. To be honest, like condense into higher value assets, you know, in the seconds and thirds. That's fine. I understand what's going on. Joe Herbert,
hey,
good evening, my man.
Hey, Joe.
Order 66. Jedi reference. I've heard that one before. 12-team Superflex, 2-point tight end premium. Start 10, Josh Allen, Olave, 23 first and a 23 second, or Kyler Murray, Breece Hall, Pat Freiermuth.
I don't even have to read this. That is just Josh Allen and
Josh Allen
first answer.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Hello, Kyler Hall, Freiermuth. Yeah.
I mean,
that's closer than, but it is the Allen.
Like, I'll take Josh Allen over Kyler. I'll take the first over Breece, Freiermuth, and Watson or Olave in a second. Okay.
Yeah, I like Freiermuth more than that, but I think the difference between Josh Allen and Murray and that first and Hall are about even. Yeah, I think it just leans Josh Allen because you'd rather have
Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen. Traded Gallup at 24 second and third for Elijah Moore.
I
My
like it.
thoughts are
I
like,
like the Moore.
I need to play in more leagues when my name is like Jeff Phillips.
I want to know if this is the Matthew Mulligan, though.
Yeah. I have no idea who Matthew
who's
Mulligan is.
He played tight end for the Pats and the Jets, and he's from next to my hometown. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I like that trade a lot.
I'd
For
be
Elijah
very
Moore.
happy for you if it was.
I'd be excited.
That's a really good trade for Elijah Moore. Is Julio Jones worth anything? Who's in your league? I mean, he's worth what someone will pay.
Is he
You're
worth
not
We
gonna
said
be-
it's worth trading for.
Trading for? Oh, sorry, I thought you said worth it. I finished the sentence.
I
for
mean,
you.
hell, if you feel like throwing a
I
third
mean-
or a fourth, go for it. See if you can get him. I don't think it's going to be worth it. I just want to see Julio get a ring.
All right.
But I'd throw a third just to
Yeah.
see if he does come out and do that resurgent like Antonio Brown did.
That's what I was like. He's worth a second or a third if you're really pushing for 2022. I guess, but I mean, you're spending on,
And especially, I mean, you've got to be a good team, and if you're a good team, you're thinking your third is probably closer to a fourth. Yeah, let's do that. But
Wayne Rooney, the Wayne Rooney. I should know a Wayne soccer player.
this is fun. We should keep doing it.
It's a soccer player. God, he's no coach now. Actually, I read a news article before I changed. He's become a coach. 12-team Superflex, start 10 PPR, CEH and second in 23, 23 seconds. Sorry, or a 23 first. Yeah, it's probably just a first.
Yeah, I think it is, but
Yeah,
that's close-ish.
I've traded for the CEH. I think there's upside there. I think it's a good player to target, but it's like when you give a second, not like when you. I guess if you're giving up first to get CEH back, that's too strong for me. Yeah. I don't care how many seconds you add to it either. So, yeah, it's just a first.
Yeah. I mean, it'll feel a little crappy if that ends up being the 110 and the 201, 202, but play your cards, what you have right now, just go for the bigger thing.
Nightmare Before Christmas for
So-
B-Day. Nice boy.
So this is because I went on Dynasty Game Night, and either the last time or the time before I went on Dynasty Game Night, Russ was hosting, and I couldn't get the song from Boogie, and so I went back on Dynasty Game Night tonight with my game face on.
Mr. Boogie Boogie says, "There's trouble close at hand. You better pay attention now because I'm
The Boogeyman.
the Boogie Mandy Dalton."
Don't watch enough movies or TV for this show. That's my feeling. Ramsey, yeah, I'll go for it. 12 teams through flex standard. Start 3 wide receivers. Cool. He gave Baker the 212 and the 301. So I'm assuming there have to be 21 picks, right?
22 picks, yeah.
This year picks. This year, whatever this year is. And he got McLaurin. Did I spend too much?
Well,
No, it's fine.
I mean, Baker.
I mean, you're giving a quarterback without getting one, which kind of sucks, but it's
a couple of seconds for McLaurin, and I'll throw a couple of 22 seconds for McLaurin.
There are players that I would rather target with that, but I don't think you paid too much for McLaurin.
Yeah.
And having said that, you could take McLaurin and get one of those other players a little easier once you've packaged something into something more. I mean, so yeah, I like it. It's good. Hit that like. Fuck. That's nearly a bad word. You nearly got me, freak stomp. Good job. Thank you very much. Jim
Hey,
Dickey.
thank you, Jim.
Happy birthday, Zach. First Juju. 8-team. I always hate these ones. 2 quarterback 8-team league. Start 13.
Start 13. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins or Antonio Gibson. Cousins.
I'll take a top 12 scoring quarterback over hoping that Antonio Gibson does.
Wait, I need to math.
Okay.
Eight teams, 2
teams.
quarterbacks means that you're starting at least 16 quarterbacks in the league. So having a 2 top 12 or having another top 12 is good.
Still
So
matters because the start 13 thing.
So everyone has to start 16, which means everyone can have 4 quarterbacks on their team.
Yes,
could.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess the answer is Kirk Cousins because we know he's good and we know he's going to be a good scorer. But
I mean, it's a top 12 quarterback versus a top 24 running back.
Yeah, you're right. It just.
I want Antonio Gibson to be a thing too, Russ. I really do. I have him on my roster. I want him to be a thing.
I guess that's more what it is. Like,
it's a lot more even if you have to start 2 running backs, but it is start 13, so it could well be. But
which is
normally
why
an
I think,
18.
yeah, like running backs are going to be a lot harder to come by than quarterbacks in this league.
It's a lot easier to find a Gibson than a Cousins is the other thing. So
I know. That's why I'm struggling, but I feel like the answer should be Gibson, but I'm still saying the answer is Cousins.
The disrespect.
I'd take Cousins and not worry about it too
palpable.
much. But if you just hate it, like, I just like, then it's fine. But I think Cousins is the answer without having to squint too hard. Results. Any concerns with banking or trying to get younger in quarterback? In the 2023 draft, 12 team Superflex. Better off buying proven talent with 23 picks? Team dependent. Not this. This is not the year. Like I've been saying, this is a bad year to start playing money into it. You can do it. If you're buying second-year wide receivers, not even third-year wide receivers this year. If you're buying second-year wide receivers, sure. If you're going for those guys. But it's an awkward year for Dynasty. It's hard to make those trades because those picks are already too high priced, and they're going to get more high priced, and those players are probably going to be good. So you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. I don't think this is the year to buy the discounts, as it were.
But to me, this question is: Do you use your 23 picks on quarterbacks coming in 2023, or do you use your picks to trade for proven quarterbacks now? And to me, I think it depends on especially in Superflex, what your starting quarterbacks look like. If you've got a guy who is a horse that you're willing to put up as a quarterback one, that's one of those top 5 or 6 quarterbacks, then I'm more than happy waiting and getting younger at quarterback with that 23 draft and hoping that I hit a second one, because I don't think you're getting a second high-end quarterback with a 23 first.
I think the only that relates to what I'm saying. I don't know about the 23 class yet, and I definitely don't know about quarterbacks before they play in the NFL anyway. But I would find it hard to believe that we're not looking at the core of the white quarterbacks that we're going to be talking about for the next 5 years or so, at least. Like Murray, Burrow, Jackson, if you don't get injured. Those are going to be the guys for quite a while. But they're all the only way to get proven in is Mack Jones, I guess. I'd be interested in. I think he's a little proven and younger. But I think the older quarterbacks are starting to age out a little bit. And the younger guys that exist right now, I think I mentioned this last year, I think those are the guys we're going to be talking about for 5 to 10 years. And so speculating on the old, isn't the year I'd do that with. I mean, I don't predict Aaron Rodgers falling off a cliff or nothing. It's going to happen sooner rather than later at this point. And I think all the young guys are already pretty well priced, except maybe Mac Jones. So.
Yeah, but I think if you're looking at like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud or Mac Jones, I'd rather roll the dice on the guy coming in. That's
exactly what the players I might target for Dynasty QB provability right now are either too old or they're too high priced.
Yeah.
So I would just lean away from it, if you know what I mean. But
go bolster your quarterback room with Derek Carr and Cousins without spending your 23 first, and then see what happens in the draft next year.
Yeah, get
what I
Matt
would do.
Ryan for a second
yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
Like that, I would actually, if anything, on this question, I wouldn't think about getting younger or older, especially based on position groups. Like you're looking to add value and you're trying to score points. Getting younger and old, it always seems to lead to moves I don't like.
You know what's
My team's too. You know what's good about an old team? It's probably scoring more points. And like if you're trying to move the age of your team, I don't know. Maybe you're very good at it. I think it would lead me into bad decisions. You know,
we're at a the way I do that is kind of organic. Like I'm not looking to get younger or older, but
exactly.
when I have a team that's not great, I'm looking to acquire young, proven wide receivers. Yeah. And then when I identify a draft class that I want to rebuild my running backs in, I attack that draft class, and then all of a sudden I have a young team. And then when they get older, I do the same thing. I start trading my running backs to get young, proven wide receivers, and then identify a class.
I think in general, I'm trying not to get to that point where I have to target it. I'm always trying to add a little extra value. You're always trying to pick up the wide receivers. That's why wide receivers in rookie drafts are always pretty good, unless it's a strong running back class. Because if there's that low cost to add potentially high value.
Kevin O'Brien, who he doesn't podcast very much anymore, but he was the FF_engineer, but I don't think he does that anymore. But he did the Fantasy Football Engineering podcast, and he always talked about your team as like an escalator. And so to always try to kind of bring younger, and he had actually like percentages of where he wanted his players.
Like I don't mind playing
pretty
it
brilliant.
Like peaks and valleys. Like you go up and then you just start building. Then you go up. But if I'm building my team, if my team's already not in a crater, I'm trying not to crater it out. I'm trying to have really good odds at winning every year. You know, the typical dynasty way, which is where you stop leaning on age and where everyone's so aware of productive struggle and the value of youth and dynasty and players breaking out in their second year more than any other year. Like it's harder to not lean to these extremes, go team old guy, go team young guy, but it's still possible, which is why I stopped thinking about youth and start thinking about value. It's not a big point about your question specifically. I think the answer is lean towards the 23 draft instead. But I just don't like that. I need to get younger. You need value. You need points, and sometimes you need to have more value than points. But is Dynasty Outhouse akin to Dynasty Porta Potty?
Second cousin, twice removed.
There you go.
Permanent structure. Piece of plastic you move around. Upgrade, baby.
Very true.
Real quick, Cooper Kupp or Marquise Brown and Cortland Sutton?
Whoa.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's painful.
Like
I just take Marcus Brown.
Man, because this might be. I think this is also my only share of Cooper Kupp and it's full PPR.
How is your team?
Very, very good.
I'd probably stay with Kupp then. Because
now I'm going through my leagues and trying to get Sutton, but then I remember this is the guy I've been trying to get Marquise Brown from. I don't want to give up Waddle.
No.
And like I have a bunch of I have McLaurin and Pittman.
Like I think Sutton is going to be a wide receiver one this year. I think Kupp could be again the wide receiver one.
Yeah. Crap. All right, I'll just go to a different league.
I know.
I'd rather trade. Yeah. Ideally, you trade Terry McLaurin or Pittman plus for Sutton, but I like Marcus Brown. I don't hate it, but it's probably Kupp's.
No, I think you get Sutton plus for McLaurin, right? Or Pittman.
I don't know.
I think you do. I think Sutton. People like Dynasty is really low on Sutton right now.
Maybe I just have bad time. I'm a pretty bad trader, but I can never get. Sutton's valued. They all seem to be valued in a range. Like Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, and Sutton. I'm ended up paying about the same for any. Like the same trade gets all of them. So I just
24 third for Sutton and a 23 second. See what happens.
All right. Yeah, Sutton's valued wide receiver 24, Superflex ADP, round 7. Around Rashad Bateman, who's very popular, and just below Marcus Brown. Like that's not.
What Are you using
No one's
DLF?
giving you a plus on a first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super flex.
Wow, I have hit a point where I just have too many players I like.
Yeah, right. That's why I was trying to condense it into like a come on, get it. Like I've got a pretty good trade list, but like I want a Stam list almost.
I have a team.
Normally it's Marcus
have
Brown, but everyone's
Saquon Barkley,
bored of it.
Christian McCaffrey, and Najee Harris.
Oh Jesus!
How?
I
Why?
never knew you had so much testosterone. To be honest, Russ.
Right?
I'm thinking you was that guy.
It's like my Scott Fishbowl team this year, where I just like went running back, and I'm like, this is completely opposite from what I do. But
that's actually the next question. By the way,
so, what would you offer for Sutton in a single quarterback league?
I think 24 first easy. 23 first is borderline, right? Yeah, it's very borderline. Probably
Start trading somebody that. Well, I mean, I would throw Antonio Gibson. I would throw. I mean, people like Mike Williams more than I do. Maybe I'd throw Mike Williams, like what Russ just did. Throw Mike Williams in a third and see if you can get Sutton in a second, something like that.
Yeah, but those are all ideal trades. You've got a player that's ranked much higher, but you don't like as well. I think that's a little. It's like I would trade Gabe Davis for him, but you know what I mean.
Well,
like
but if they're ranked much higher, that means a lot of people think he's more valuable. Like so again, it matters.
Yeah.
Like your league specifically matters, but if you step back and look at ADP, like that's the broad consensus. That's the average. It's not necessarily specific to your league, but these are what I would try.
All I mean is like Gibson's ranked around Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, DK. J.K. Dobbins, would you trade any of those guys for him? I think I would, actually, now I see it.
Yeah, especially if I get a plus on Sutton. Yeah.
Those guys are above Keenan Allen, though.
Which is wild. But again, that's age. That's so when you talk dynasty value, and we've talked about this a bunch on this show, I've talked about it on the dummies. Like to me, there are three distinct phases of value. There's like the rookie, like pre-career dreaming value. There is like projected value, and then there's like actual points value. And so like Keenan Allen, right now, points don't matter because we're not at a point where points matter. So people are doing the dreaming value, and Keenan Allen is not a very good dream.
Alvin Kamara is running back 17 in the ADP. By the way,
wow!
Like I was trying to create a value list, and it was really hard to get Alvin Kamara out of it because I was like, "That's stupid. Come on, people, that's just not right."
It's this year. This year, it's going to be look in the 40s and 50s and 60s for wide receiver, and then look at the running backs who have always been good but are now old as your values. I mean, it's
keep talking about the same thing, but it comes up everywhere. It's like we're so excited about wide receiver right now. That ADP has finally adjusted some wide receivers up, but it's done it by adjusting some great running backs down instead of adjusting the running back position down almost.
Right.
It's better to target running backs this year. It just sucks at Dynasty. But those were some player names. Michael Pittman, slightly higher in that range. Would you do that? Michael Pittman for Sutton? Is that even?
If we I mean not straight up. I think I have Pittman over Sutton, but I think that if you got Sutton plus for Pittman, I would do that. Like I don't mind getting extra on top of a receiver that I think is going to be top 12.
Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about a top 24 wide receiver on a bad team or slight injury or age discount, like McLaurin, Chris Godwin's in that range. Keenan Allen's in that range, or a running back that maybe other people are higher on, like Antonio Gibson. Or Ezekiel Elliott, Kenneth Walker. I did that.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker all day. Let's go.
There you go. A third, you see
but that's what I'm saying. Like there's such a big value swing when you get to specific people, but when you look at ADP, you get that, and then you just kind of hope that one of the people in your league values, Sutton down where the community values them, and Antonio Gibson up where the community values them.
Yeah, I have Sutton around wide receiver 20 right now. It's not a big enough value difference. I might look at that again. Top 12 is strong, man. I got Juju in that kind of value difference. Nico Collins. Yeah,
Well,
I just don't think you're getting Sutton for these pieces.
And I don't think Sutton is top 12 like Dynasty. Like I don't think that he will be ranked top 12 in Dynasty. I think that ship has sailed. But I think that he has the potential to score. I'm looking at points right now. I think he has potential to score in the top 12.
What do you think happens to Sutton if he scores in the top 12 next year, though?
I think he's probably right around Deontay
12,
Johnson, that 26, 27-year-old wide receiver who's just outside the top 12.
I think Johnson's a special case because of the quarterback narrative that gets wrapped around him. I mean,
maybe he gets up there, but he's gonna be what, 27 next year, almost 28.
Yeah, fair. But I mean, it's different kettle of fish. But we're keeping Adams in the top 12.
But Adams was like a top 3. I mean, it's more like Allen Robinson than it is Adams.
Yeah, but. 1 QB, half point PPR. Saquon, a 23 fourth, 24 fourth versus Waddle and James Waddle.
Saquon's Saquon, but the answer is just Waddle. And apparently Robinson's like cleared for practice. Is like awesome. Achilles nothing anymore?
I guess not.
This is so weird.
Maybe we shouldn't have been impressed by Cam Akers.
It depends on the severity of the tear too. I mean, like we don't have we don't have the medical, like all of that. So
it's still crazy. No, it's Brandon Cooks. That original trade, it was not.
Then
you threw a second too much, but if you got what you liked, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, agree.
Good evening, all. What do you think about Tyreek is currently valued above, below market? I'll be exactly on market with Tyreek Hill. I think he's still in the top 12, and that's fine. I don't think
the lower end of it.
Yeah. He's pretty well spot. But again, he's the discount you're getting where he's the back end of the top 12 is because of age.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check the person in your league who has him, because especially if you don't have a very active league, the person who has him might still be freaking out that he went to Miami because of either Waddle or Tua. So you might be able to get him cheap. Like, if you can get him for 24 first, I think I do that pretty easily.
Get in your league chat and start dropping highlight films of Tua throwing to Waddle. Just be like, look at this connection. This is amazing.
It's awesomeness. Sorry. Yeah. 8-team 2 quarterbacks, start 13. Elijah Moore on a 24 first, or Kirk Cousins and a 24 second?
This one's more on the first, I think, for me. Right? I mean, like Cousins and a first. 24 first, though.
I'm still fine with it.
Yeah, it's still probably that side, but.
So Eric has Cousins and he's looking to get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's just 8-team leagues, man. It makes a difference.
I'm just not thrilled about Kirk Cousins. I get it's not going to be a difference maker to help you win.
Cousins,
but Elijah Moore probably doesn't have that either.
Cousins is the guy that is better on your roster than he is trading. Like, he's more valuable to your roster than he is trading, because he's not sexy. Nobody wants him. But if you have him on your team, you're like, I got a
don't you feel like
really
in a
good QB2
league, you want that difference maker? You don't want that safe QB12
as your second quarterback in a start 2 quarterback.
Why not?
I mean, I'd take 2 top 12 quarterbacks wouldn't you?
I would rather trade Cousins for Elijah Moore and then see whatever I could do with that first to do.
I'm with you on that. Like, I'm on that side of it, but like what I'm saying is, like, Cousins is, to me, generally better on your roster than he is a trade.
No, 1,000% he is, but I still don't think I push to keep him on my roster in the 7s.
Nope.
I think I just take Cousins. In an 8-team league, Elijah Moore isn't much of a bump for my wide receiver position. I like him.
He's looking at the first and saying, hopefully you can do something with that.
Well, that's the thing. He can do things with things. I can't. So, but it's fair. Super Cooper 03 version. I'm rebuilding. Who are some players I should be targeting, or should I wait till injuries could happen? No, I don't know that. Yeah, he's just looking for players to target in trades if he's building, if his team stinks.
Young players. I mean, that's the unfortunate answer. Or, go for Juju and Sutton, players that you think throughout the season will gain value. You don't have to get, just because you're rebuilding doesn't mean you only get young people. You just get people you think will rise in value so you can have them.
If you're building, you're looking for value and you're looking for any way you can get it. So if you find value on a running back that's 25 years old, it's not ideal. But if you think you could get him and then trade him later, that's ultimately what you're looking for, value. I think, as wrote, like Russ says, you're looking for young players. You're looking, especially for young wide receivers. Year 2 wide receivers tend to be the meat of Dynasty, and so you're kind of aiming there. The players I have on the list would be Devontae Smith is pretty high up for me. Jalen Waddle, no, again, that's why he's on the list. It's not necessarily just because of the points. It's because he's of a certain tier of value. He's only entering his second career year, and so there's just insulation there for a building team. But he probably costs too much for you to do if you're pure building.
AJ Brown for Cortland Sutton and DJ Moore. Is that too much? Asking too much for AJ Brown?
No, it's not asking. AJ Brown plus something for DJ Moore.
Well, no, AJ Brown for DJ Moore and Cortland Sutton.
Oh,
try it.
People, DJ Moore gets like a bump, a forever bump. I don't know why. You're probably not going to take it, but yeah, I'd try it.
Yeah, worth a shot.
Yeah.
So for me, looking at rebuilding, and Peter, like you mentioned Devontae Smith, but in the same vein, the young wide receivers who have shown a little bit. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith, and these are cheap guys. Juju, who's still only 25. I
Elijah
like
Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith. Try for David Bell. He keeps standing out to me.
I think Sky Moore, like the Sky Moore and Juju play, like I like one of those guys is going to shake out in the slot and be really successful in Kansas City. My initial bet is Juju, but they're both decent plays there. So that's what I'm looking to do is go get those young wide receivers that can, and then somebody like Dallas Goedert, who's a young tight end who has potential to.
I was going to say Trey McBride, but I think that's a similar thing.
Absolutely.
If the wide receivers are too protected because everyone likes their wide receivers and switch position and look for value there. But think of it in terms of value. And Russ is right. That's normally just age as a simple equation, but you can find some other. Pickens is a good one here. You go for some of those 22 rookies because everyone hates them now. Because we're finished with our drafts and we're like, we hate these guys. They haven't done nothing yet. But it can sometimes.
And then the other thing is look for right now the running backs who are in a position to score points during the season to litter the back end of your roster with that are going to be cheap. They're going to be on your waiver wire. You don't even have to trade for them. It's the who's the guy? Dontrell Hilliard that is in Tennessee.
Cleveland?
What?
Oh, is he not in Cleveland anymore?
No, Cleveland is. There's somebody else in Cleveland. But anyway, the guy in Cleveland, the backup in Cleveland, like all of those types of players, because in season they're going to score points, and then you can trade them for anything, whatever, second round picks or accrue value that way because right now they're free.
Yep. And that's just good dynasty building. Like build a stable of running backs that no one likes on your bench, and then when one of them does something or their starter gets injured, like give you this for value. Give me value. Paul Cicero, 18 PPR, start 13. A lot of start 13s today. I have JT and JJ. Late round QB. JJ or just okay? I'm going to start 7 wide receivers. I'm just going to start. Okay, I like that.
That's my kind of lineup.
I want to trade for No, it's not. It's having 3 stud running backs we learned tonight. That's your lineup.
Weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't get it.
You did it in the DLF Pod League. I don't know. There's a pattern forming. I want to trade for Chase. You and me too, brother. Pieces I can trade. First, 1 first in each of the next 3 years. He has Bateman, Cooper, Higgins, Elijah Moore, Sutton. Take Higgins, add 2 firsts to it, and see if I'll give you Chase. But I
would have said the same thing with Bateman or Moore.
Yeah. Because Higgins has got a bigger fan club, but Bateman maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, Higgins does have a bigger fan club, but if you throw 2 firsts and Bateman, it's like 3 firsts. Here we go.
Like try for Bateman and Amari and go get like CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I prefer that over spending firsts.
Yeah. I prefer Lamb's value over Chase's value. It's the thing. It's like it's justified, but it's almost
so do the Cooper and Elijah Moore, try to get Lamb, and do the 24, 25 in Bateman and try to get Chase. Keep your 23 and then just obliterate the league. And if you have to throw in Garrett Wilson on one of those, then whatever.
This is a rated G YouTube stream. We need to calm it down.
No, we don't do that. We go for the jugular here.
I'm a down thing. There we go. Let's see. Does Stafford plus Waddle get you to the table to discuss Herbert in a 12-team? Yeah.
I don't think anyone does it, but it'll warrant a think.
It'll start the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You were going to say you wouldn't do it too. Roberts. No? Okay. Superflex 12-team start 10. Justin Jefferson, Bateman, 23 second for Waddle, Higgins, and 23 first.
So Waddle, Higgins in the first. Don't care. Waddle, that is like everything I have ever wanted. Waddle, Higgins in the first. Can we throw Calvin Ridley on there just for the fun of it, and just to make
that's
like everything.
You know what's really sad is I think you're right. Like, and I hate giving up Jefferson.
I'm just keeping Jefferson. Like I can trade Bateman for the value. Like somewhere
but
else if you want.
You get 2 top 12 receivers and a first for 1 top 5. Like that's Like
because here's the thing, like Waddle and Higgins are both technically top 12 wide receivers. Justin Jefferson is also, well, he's a top 2 wide receiver, but the thing is Justin Jefferson can score as like the wide receiver 8, and that's not going to change the fact that he's wide receiver 1. But Waddle and Higgins are where they are because
they have teammates.
Of the points they've scored already. Like I think it wouldn't be a crazy world where Waddle and Jefferson can score the exact same amount of points, and then you still have Higgins in the first.
If Bateman is a 23 first, is it any different for you guys? Jefferson a 23 first and second for the other side?
Well, so we're just crossing out 23 firsts and saying Jefferson.
No, I think you can get a first for Bateman or someone else in your league and keep Jefferson. Like, if the first is the thing. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, that's if this is the deal at hand, I take Waddle and Higgins, and I still feel good about it.
This to me is close. Like it's close.
It's a good I think
it's a good trade. It's a good trade. I just
it's hard to give up. It's hard to give up.
Jefferson, cold dead handsing Jefferson, you know. But I mean, I said the opposite about Chase, so yeah, that's probably right. I probably would have rejected it without thinking about it. Because I see Jefferson. No, wait, that's probably a bad idea.
Well, you said Jefferson and Bateman, and you're just like Bateman is Bay. Like, no, you're done.
It's not. No one will let his value come down to where I get to say I like him without ever trading for him ever. Apparently.
Once again, I think that's the thing with this trade is like you're getting Bateman's value without that production. You haven't seen it from Bateman yet. We're still dreaming on Bateman.
Like,
And ceiling's capped on Bateman. Let's be honest. Just being in Baltimore.
Higgins in a first. It's not really Higgins in a first for Bateman, though. No, yeah, you're right. And one quarterback, half-point PPR contender. I give the 106 in this year's rookie draft, which has apparently not yet happened. For Zeke and Zach Moss. Wow, that's.
For Zeke. Okay.
Yeah, for Zeke.
I mean, I think you have to give that much. I think that's too much to give for Zeke, though. I want Zeke on my team.
Yeah,
I would rather take my shot at one of those wide receivers.
Not me. I'd rather have Zeke, but I think you can get Zeke for less than this. Like if this is the deal, then I'll do it and take Zeke, because I would rather have Zeke than anybody that's left. If I could get Zeke and like a second for
that's fair. Add something worthwhile as opposed to Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Because
like Zach Moss, where who's available at 106? If it's Burks, just probably
unless
it's one QB, so we're even taking Pickett out. I think we're along the lines of like Jameson Williams or Chris Olave.
I can't remember
if
it's Kate or Emily Majuk who is the Zach Moss. Unless they're in your league, that's what I'm not Emily Michelle.
It's Michelle that is though.
Okay, so unless she is in your league, like you don't Zach Moss, you don't want Zach Moss.
Yeah, Zach Moss
he doesn't have any value.
I mean, build a stable of running backs with no value. That's fine, but you can value. Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to check something. I seriously heard of Burks falling because he's got asthma. We've just discovered. No, he's still ranked third overall in rookie ADP. I think it's really the Wild West.
I said he made a nice catch today. He's back up.
Oh, okay. 12-team, 1 QB PPR. Pitts, Godwin, Ramondre, or DJ Moore, Jacobs, and top 4, 23 first. You don't know that, but okay. And Albert-O. And Albert-O is just nothing. Yeah, just to be clear.
It's probably Pitts and Godwin for me.
Yeah, I like Ramondre too. Like, that's a decent running back upside while giving up Jacobs. So, yeah, it's the Pitts and
yeah, I mean, I know you got a 23 first in there, but I'd still rather have the Pitts and God, like the 23 first. If everything works out, you have Pitts' value because people are like Pitts' value is way up.
But also, again, 23 firsts really are what they are really in superflex leagues,
right?
Like, of course, you're probably going to get a very, very good player in the top 4 pick in 23 in a 1 QB, but like that's riskier because like pick 12 won't be that great, but it will be in superflex.
Right. I think you're going 7 or 8 deep in one quarterback.
Yeah, which is still pretty great.
Yeah, which is ridiculous for a class. Yes, like 7 or 8 deep that you're excited about.
Yeah. So like this, I mean, it just seems silly to give up Pitts and Godwin for that in general. Because they're both awesome, and DJ Moore's good. Josh Jacobs, his value is declining.
Hits for DJ Moore and Jacobs seems pretty close to me, and that makes it like Godwin or Ramondre for a 23 first, and that's fine-ish, I guess. So just
I don't think
the higher value player
is doing this. Did you say Pitts for Moore and Jacobs?
Yeah, I think Pitts. I think Pitts has more value than that, but. Like
that's what I mean. It bleeds over, so it's even less than Godwin or Ramondre for a first. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get it. Fit side.
Yeah.
Sucks up. Who are you currently top undervalued wide receiver targets?
Go listen to the Dynasty Dummies episode from 2 weeks ago. That's the one. It's called "Keep It Simple."
I feel like most of my content is just these same lists set in a new like values, sleepers, targets, they're all the same thing. But it's
everyone always loves it.
Sutton, who's now getting on the list there, Juju, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith, David Bell, and I like Elijah Moore still as well. I think those would be the top guys.
Yep. And for this season, super undervalued because he's not being valued at all is Jarvis Landry.
He's on the list, but
You can get him for nothing. Yeah, and
yeah. I mean, I've also got Sammy Watkins and Jamal Williams down there at the bottom of the list.
We had the Ayuk question. Ayuk is probably one of those guys who's undervalued,
He
especially.
is.
Especially.
Yeah.
So here's the sneaky thing about the situation in San Francisco. If they decide to be pissy with Debo for saying he doesn't want to run, and all of a sudden give some of those wide receiver carries that is built into that San Francisco offense to Ayuk.
Is he built for that, though?
He did it his first year quite a bit. Not quite like what Debo did, but he's got that potential.
Okay.
You know, again, not like the between the tackles carries that Debo got, but like the jet sweep and the pop pass and those sort of
that
things.
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
He could be really interesting this year with that offense and especially with Lance, because I think things are going to be a little more mobile, a little more. There are going to be some more moving pieces. So he's a player that is a little bit deeper that I'm interested in. Which, if you had talked to me last year about Ayuk, it would have been the exact opposite.
I literally was for me. It was like,
yeah, we were talking about Debo. Yeah,
as someone who got it right last year, I find it bizarre that everyone who like argued fervently for Ayuk last year is now like, oh, he's bad now. It's like, no, he still did well, guys. You weren't wrong that he's good. It's like they can't get it right for trying.
And David Bell is undervalued a lot.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
And can we come back in just a nit on Rondell Moore and hope? Can we hope?
I wrote him up about a month ago. I was like, all the signal is bad, but he's already been thrown down there to the bottom of the pile, and he hadn't played football in 2 years, and he had this on this team, and I think he had an ADOT of like 1.5.
Yeah.
But the last guy I made that argument for was Juju, and he still hit top 24, but late season, and people didn't like it. So, I mean, yeah, I still have. He's on 50% of my rosters, I think, because I drafted him a lot, and I'm not getting rid of him because of his bad rookie season. There's just not enough value. Yeah, I kind of like it. Second-year wide receivers, man. Take the ones that are cheap. Chris Evans, anyone? Anyone know what this
is? Someone said, who is the cheapest backup running back that can win you your league, and why is it Samaje Perine? And
Jamal Williams, I think, is the one I like.
Any Williams, Jamal Williams, Darrell Williams,
Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, Darrell Henderson.
Spiller.
Chuba.
Rashad White.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
I've been getting a lot of him lately.
Very quiet, Sony Michel.
Right?
That's so unsexy for a Dynasty player, though.
I know.
In Dynasty, like, ew. But yeah. Let's see.
How about Tyler Beatty? Is he sexier?
Tyler Beatty's on my list.
Yeah. If everybody falls down in Baltimore and they decide to like throw to a running back.
I mean, they're not backup running backs, but the values are so bad that they're almost like
Boston Scott.
I mentioned earlier. Similarly
Boston
undervalued
Scott is the answer. He won you the last 2 years. Boston Scott did. So,
JD McKissick.
McKissick RB1.
I was gonna say that's your guy, isn't it? Mike Davis. Anyone got Mike Davis interest on Baltimore? I mean,
I don't. I'd rather have Beatty.
I mind
but,
yeah. I mean, he's drafted below him, so I mean, it's even less. But yeah. Not sure if questions asked via Twitter get through.
They do, Hogan.
Okay.
Do that?
Thank you.
Oh, on Twitter Live. Yes.
But they don't get through live.
Yeah, if you're on Twitter Live, probably best to just like tag us, I guess, so we can get it through Twitter rather than the comment section. God, this thread has just been like, I've been ignoring Twitter, which is not normal for me, but someone posted like a bait tweet the other day with Kyler Murray's stats and the release of Call of Duty, and it's just been constantly people not getting that it's just completely unself-aware.
Yeah.
Every time I go on Twitter, I get like 50 messages because I won't mute it because it's hilarious. And
I gotta be honest.
People calling other idiots for not
the metrics
for the correlation.
metrics community is known for their sense of humor.
I mean it.
So for me to sit there and read, causation is not equal correlation 500 times, like they're known.
It's
for their
just
sense of humor.
you clearly haven't read anything.
Some might say they
debated.
excel at it.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, look at you go. Russ is
Equals
hot.
concatenate.
Wayne Rooney, Peter, read your hit rate piece. People refer to work I've done. I'm like, what was that? What did I say? What did I say wrong? I can't
Apparently
remember
good stuff.
Awesome stuff. Do you think there will be a lot of running backs in 23 that have first or second round draft capital? You mean rookies? Yeah.
Full
Zach.
5. Yeah.
I think and I'm not a draft analyst, but I think 23 is one of those years the NFL is going to scoop up a whole bunch of new running backs they expect to be the guys. Some of them are going to hit, some are going to fail, but they're going to try and replenish the position pretty soon, if not next year. And it's probably next year, according to what Zach keeps whenever you mention 23.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks for the question, and thanks for checking it out, man. Dobbins Gap. It took me a month to publish those articles. You know why? Because James Simpson is an evil man. No, it's because he's all by himself and he's trying to fix my grammar and spelling errors. And so it's just at this point we have a daily email. Poor guy. Yeah. It's been bad. Dobbins and Gallup are a late 23. It's a 23 first for me.
I'd take Dobbins.
Okay. Yeah, you do love Dobbins. That's right.
I do love Dobbins
a lot. I'd still take the 23. But it's close. It's close. I'm not a huge believer in Dobbins, and I think Gallup's ceiling is a top 24, but not a top 12. So,
well said, Zach. Fantasy Condo, Jerry Jeudy or Marvin Jones, and a 23 second. I take Jeudy though, and Keen.
I just want to hear you say that.
I don't know who that is. I recognize the name. Some deep prospect. Yeah, I think Judy's upside there. If it's not Sutton, Judy. It's a weak take, but I like it.
Well, again, we talked with Jacob Rickroad a couple weeks ago for 4 episodes in a row. Man, that was grueling coming back for each of those episodes. But
wasn't it? Like having to sign back in every night.
But it's the old 2 top 24 wide receivers. Russell Wilson in Denver could very easily sustain Sutton and Jeudy as top 24.
I mean, he's been doing that on a much more difficult offense to do it.
Speaking of, Chris Carson retired.
Oh, he did?
I'm sad, but I'm also glad that he's not going to be taking
going to subject himself.
Again. Like I was really concerned that he was going to try to push himself back.
Yeah. Same.
I hope he made his money. I don't know about the contracts and stuff, but like he did enough to earn his money, but lower drafted. Undrafted, right? Adam, 12-team Superflex 1 point PPR, so just PPR. That's cool. Tight end premium. Give Deontay, probably not. Watkins get a 23 first. It's tempting. And a 23 third. I take Deontay.
The reason I'm considering is because potentially land 2 running backs next season. My core is decent outside of running back.
Oh. Thank you, Ref.
Yeah, but don't worry. Don't think like that. If you're gonna,
fine, but I probably just want to keep Deontay.
I mean, like your pick can land in a place where it's filled with quarterbacks and wide receivers. I mean, like you can't.
Yeah.
Rookie draft.
Don't plan who to draft. If you're getting the pick, it's because it's a valuable thing that will be valuable.
Watkins. Is that Sammy Watkins? Is that what we decided?
I assumed.
I forgot Christian Watkins existed until you said it.
No, he's Watson.
That's true.
So.
Watson. Then who's the other Watkins?
I don't know. So it must be Sammy.
Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Sammy.
Man, I don't mind taking the 23 first there. I don't.
I think
it's close, but I don't mind taking it.
I think it's
like
a
if your
good
team's good,
trade.
just keep Deontay's points. Like I don't see.
But I'd rather keep Deontay.
But yes, I'm not thinking about landing 2 running backs next year. Like that I'm not thinking about that yet. I'm thinking about I want picks in that draft because the class is good.
He's saying it's Sammy, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Not that I'm going to get running back. So Adam, I think that's where this breaks down a little bit.
Yeah.
Is you're already trying to draft your 23 picks. To me, you get in a class because it is good, because there are a bunch of high-end players, not because you specifically want to draft a running back, because you don't know how that's going to fall in your draft. I mean, it may be the running backs go top 4 and you're mid-late and you don't get one.
Yep.
And there's always holdouts and people that don't end up declaring, and then one of them's Isaiah Spiller at the combine, and you don't have to think that way to like the first, to be fair, but yeah, it's worth noting. 12 team Superflex 2.0 tight end premium again. Russ, help. Top 10: Russell Wilson, Breece Hall, or Dak Prescott, Garrett Wilson, and Dawson Knox. Hall and Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson and Hall. You know what's really funny is Wilson, he's fallen and then he snuck back up into the top 8 quarterbacks, but he could be really good this year. Really, yeah.
I mean, everything can be wrong, obviously, but I mean, he should be.
Yeah.
The fun of Stafford last year. Only technically, he should be better. He should be.
He's a better
we
quarterback.
Know is true.
Yep.
If you're like a tape grinder like Zach, and you've been watching Wilson going, no, he's got a kink in his arm, or some weird shit, then sure. But I mean, it's a mystery to me why he wouldn't be great.
Wilson has an unequivocally the best deep ball in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody throws a better deep ball than Russell Wilson. You can take
I don't
your
even know
Justin
that.
Herbert. You can take your Josh Allen. You can just put those
I
guys
know he
all
has
off
one
the
of the most
side.
accurate arms we've ever seen.
But
like
that's
Drew
what I'm
Brees
saying,
level
like-
accuracy. That's what I know.
Part of what was so much fun about DK Metcalf is, and I know people are like, oh, he ran a route tree. He didn't really run a route tree. He ran a few routes, but mostly he's running that 9 route, and he's running by guys, and he's putting his hand up, and Russell Wilson is dropping it right in the basket. And I'm excited to see him
I
in an
cannot wait
offense
to see what
that should let him
Patrick
throw.
can do with that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, exactly. Tim Patrick to the moon.
I was hoping to sneak that one by, but okay. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Cool. Handcuffs suck, but okay. But it sounds like both may miss the start of the season. That's a good reason they suck. Do I bother with obtaining whoever's next? Don't
Dude,
roster
Dobbins yelled
players
at
with other
Rappaport when he
players.
said he wouldn't be ready. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But no, don't go down the rabbit hole of handcuffs. Just figure something out. Because especially people who are going to see on your team are Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and they're going to try and gouge you for the price. So just figure something else out.
I mean,
for that. Until
I like Beatty. I like Davis real deep for the same reason, but base logic is roster someone else's handcuff. John Hogue has pointed out doesn't cost you much, and it feels better if you have them, and if you get them at decent value, there's no real big edge anymore in knowing that you should roster it someone else's handcuff, so it's fine. But you shouldn't literally plan your bench around who you're planning your starting roster to be, because it's just a bad idea, man. And like Russ says, something I wouldn't have thought of, they're going to try and gouge you because they can see what you're trying to do.
To me, a handcuff like that, though, at the very best, the best outcome is you tread water.
Yeah.
And
probably get worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's not worth it. You may as well go down if your guy goes down.
Yeah.
You don't have
I mean,
anyone
I'd
to replace him.
rather go kick the tires on whoever has Melvin Gordon, because I think they're going to split carries again. Melvin Gordon's not sexy, and if they're not, we don't wish injuries on anybody. But if Javonte Williams has a 6-week cold where he can't get out of bed, and it's a real bad runny nose, and Melvin Gordon comes in and plays, that's fantastic.
Sure. Finally sold JT for $323 first. All
Nice,
in
rock on.
23. That's good. He has Mahomes, Jefferson, Waddle, Sky, Olave, Pitts, JT. I feel like we've hopefully helped create that roster, because that's a real pretty shiny roster. I'm kind of stroking it with my mouse cursor, good boy, good roster. I like this roster. Apart from the Sky Moore, Olave, it's fine. Feel like you're judging me. Hero running back and no depth. My thought process is to retool.
So to me,
423 first, grab 3. Like, you got a ton of value here and good young players. I don't know. Just keep it up.
can we take
Again, we need
can
to
we take
not
one of those
plan
23
for draft
first?
already. Sorry.
No, sorry. Can we take one of those 23 first and throw them at something like Barkley or McCaffrey or and see if we can like replace
Barkley, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, replace my hero RB and still have 2 for
like,
huh?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't give a 23 first for Kamara right now.
I said Barkley and CMC.
I said Kamara.
I think so. I'm saying, like, if I can get Kamara for just 2 seconds, sure. Or like a mid player in a second, yeah, I'd rather do that. But yeah, you have very, very, very good players still, so you still have a chance to do well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you've got your hero RB who's JT, but you replace him with a player who could conceivably score more, but you still get 2 firsts, then, like, to me, I'm feeling really good about that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It felt like I was going to say something then. I was like, I think I'd just be repeating stuff again. Can someone explain the Sutton hype to me? I mean, I can try. I don't think there's a lot of hype. Again, his value is in a difficult to trade range. Like, you miss if you trade for it and it doesn't work out. But I just went over the Wilson thing. I can think of no earthly reason why he shouldn't be a monster in that offense. If he isn't, I mean, anything can miss. I can be wrong. I'm not watching. I don't know who's good. But I can find no earthly reason why he wouldn't at least see the career elevation that Stafford just did. And that's not because it's a better coach or anything. It's just it's a team not dedicated to running even when they shouldn't. Not even the passing attempts. They're just not hell-bent on it. And that should help out. As for Sutton, he's the guy who's had a top 24 season before, which means he's most likely to actually do it again, and therefore be the lead wide receiver on the team overall. It could be Judy because he plays close to the line of scrimmage, more of a Tyler Lockett role. But I think quarterbacks just target players. They don't target types. So that's where it's from. It's like Sutton has been that top 24 player with worse quarterback situation. Wilson should continue to be really good, and the two together should really elevate each other.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, to me, it's
an A plus B thing.
Yeah, it's exactly, Peter. It's the price you have to pay to acquire him, which is low, and then the ceiling which Sutton has, which is high.
And as for
to me, makes him a buy.
I'd prefer Tim Patrick at the price. So do I. That's why I have a lot of Tim Patrick and not much Sutton. But the thing is, it's probably Sutton. So, I mean, I like my Tim Patrick shares, and you never know, but it's probably Sutton. And Dynasty isn't about drafting the lowest priced guy and then going, oh, well, it didn't work out, but it didn't spend much. Eventually, you got to hit it right. So going for the more probable is how you more often hit that mark.
I'm going to cross-examine the witness. Peter, you agree that talent drives targets?
More so, yeah. Sure.
Okay, yeah. So if I put your feet to the fire and I said, who's a better player, Tim Patrick or Cortland Sutton?
Sutton.
Who's a better player? I have
a hard time proving it.
Tim Patrick or Jerry Jeudy?
If Tim Patrick were better, he'd be starting over them and not just replacing them by now.
He has, but not doing this. He outscored both of them. He got a bigger role in the offense for 2 years in a row.
That is not what I said. When the two of them are healthy, Tim Patrick goes on the bench. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm saying it's what it is.
Yeah,
when Tim
that's where I come down.
I mean, it's healthy, where Tim Patrick sits down. What was the nickname? The football, like Fireball Jones or something funny like that, because his name was boring. No, was that?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, they were both higher rated in college. They were both higher drafted in the NFL. And at a certain point, there's no reason to think Tim Patrick is secretly Cortland. Adam Thielen, and I don't know Adam Thielen happens if Laquan Treadwell could actually do as well as Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, because there's no reason to think it's Tim Patrick outside of it's been kind of a mess. So yeah, it's very much more likely the other two, and I like him at a value because there is a little bit of a question mark. But that's why Sutton's the target. If you can't get him, I don't mind a wing and a. It's the same thing in Green Bay. I don't think they have a true wide receiver one, but if someone's overdrafting Alan Lazard, right now he's fine. But I don't mind taking shots on Romeo Doubs late and Sammy Watkins late. It's like I get that we're leaning to the other guy, but we could well be wrong. That's the Tim Patrick play.
I mean, last year Cortland Sutton and Fant out targeted Patrick.
Yeah. He's the down the field guy, to be fair.
No,
we can make an argument.
This is not to denigrate Tim Patrick, but this is to say that the two players you want are Sutton and Judy, and then Tim Patrick is a great guy to have on your team because if one of them should get hurt, which has happened a lot, Tim Patrick will be very viable. He's going to be fine.
See, here's the thing. I made this argument year 2 against Sutton because they've been splitting the workload, and I was like, it's closer than we think. And then Sutton broke out year 2. That's when he actually had his top 24 season. And I put it down. It's like, as much as this offense seems to split with injuries and various other things when all three are there, ultimately it leans Sutton when they're both healthy and both on the field. So unfortunately, you just got to accept that. Well, not unfortunately. It's not like I don't want Sutton to be good. And I do like undrafted free agents an awful lot, though. I don't know if we explained shit there, but we tried.
We had fun. That's what matters.
Tight end premium. Renfro and Gesicki. I always have fun when you hit. That's nice. I like both these players.
Renfro, unless we're talking like 2-point. I love Gesicki. I love the player. I don't think he's going to work out in the league to be great.
Well, it's not going to be any more than he's been.
And especially they added Hill.
Yes, exactly. So, I think he's the one that suffers.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I'll take Renfro.
Yeah. And Renfro's so dirt cheap.
I like the maybe. Renfro, maybe. That's literally like his tagline. It's like, hey,
Renfro,
I'm going to draft Renfro. Maybe.
Eric, would love to hear each of your favorite owned by you fantasy rosters and what you're trying to still improve. I have favorite. I don't choose between my children. No. Anyone got a team they want to list off? As Russ with all his running back T and.
Well, I already talked about that league. I accidentally made the playoffs last year, but my Trade Addicts 2 team is so weird right now. But I have Kirk Cousins, Tua, Aaron Jones, Christian Kirk, Cooper Kupp, Jarvis Landry, Terry McLaurin, Michael Pittman, Adam Thielen, Jalen Waddle, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and I just like Jelani Woods. Oh, I apparently have Kyle Rudolph. I feel like that's good. This usually gets me into the semifinals or finals the last 2 years, and I have lost all of them. Frickin' Brian Haar.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I guess it's my team in your Hogwarts league. Like that team is fun.
Yeah.
Where I've got Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, Drew Brees also at quarterback.
Gotta hold on to him.
Yeah. And then like my running backs are just like an amalgamation of guys who catch the pass and Ezekiel Elliott. So it's like all of the backups in Detroit, which I think is a good way to play your. This is the one team I don't have J.D. McKissic on. So that Eric is what I'm trying to improve. I need to add J.D. McKissic to this roster because I've got Zeke, I've got Naheem Hines, I've got Craig Reynolds and Jamal Williams, but I really need a J.D. McKissic to solidify my running back roster to go along with Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. And this was my Billy Idol build where I drafted DJ Moore, Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore. So it's the Rebel Yell. It's the more.
More. Wait, hold on. I want to see this full team. So my Trade Addicts 3 team, I have Tua, Kyler, and Davis Mills. So I actually have 3 quarterbacks. That's fun. Saquon, CEH, Najee. I have Khalil Herbert on this one. Christian McCaffrey, Hollywood, Mike Evans, Darnell Mooney, Justin Ross, Samuel Watkins, Travis Kelce. That's fun.
And some of my favorite teams are a little hard to describe because the league's a little complicated. Fucking John Bosch. But I'm happy with what I did. I like being able to pull a J Mike, actually coming up with a plan and executing on it, even if it's not to win. And I've really, have a vision. But you really need one. I like J Mike's way of playing. My worst team is a trade addicts team. I just went nuts in trades in there, and I've got nothing. But it's going to be fun rebuilding it. That's
That's the whole point. Just have some fun, man.
That's kind of what I did. I like my DLF Pods League. I've been working on that one probably a little bit more than most, just because it's a really weird situation where I felt like it's a really good team, but it's clearly got 2 or 3 teams that are just much more dominant. One of them's yours because all the running back tea you had. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go down because I still had a lot of young wide receivers, but I wasn't going to grab any of the running backs. But I'm still kind of in that situation. But I did manage to. I lost AJ Brown recently, but I've got CD Lamb. I've got Jalen Waddle, who we were talking about. Tim Patrick, Rondell Moore. These value targets I like. I like that roster pretty well. And it's a super flex, and I've got 3 good quarterbacks, starters anyway, Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. I have nothing at running back apart from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but that's normal for me. I'm fine with that. And I also managed to grab David Bell. I haven't managed to get Trey McBride on it. Other than that, it's fairly good roster for my targets.
Team is beautiful, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can really like this Nickelodeon team I've got, but it's mainly because I executed a plan to rebuild, and I'm kind of there. I kind of got there, but it's a weird scoring and thing, so it's hard to explain. I'd take Tony over Sutton. You don't have to, and also, no. If you did that in a trade, you would have been giving up too much value, for example. You need to add a second to Tony to get Sutton. Which, I mean, if you've got Sutton somewhere, someone's willing to do that, so I'd do it. I would. Yeah, we're talking Dynasty almost constantly. Hurts of Russell Wilson and Superflex. Wilson.
That's close.
I don't know.
I think
we've been saying Hurts because he was undervalued, but he's still getting ranked ahead of Wilson, and I think they have the same upside.
Yeah, they're probably right next to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like a pick your poison. Like Wilson isn't going to run the ball much anymore. So you're really hoping he's going to pass well. You're hoping the wide receivers stay healthy. You're hoping everything clicks. Hurts has that floor because he's going to run a lot. And you just got to hope he got better at passing and that he's going to pass more with A.J. Brown and everything. So
I think he's a little underrated as a passer as well.
I think Wilson is technically safer because, he's got that job and how talented he is. But, man, I honestly have absolutely no idea how to answer this question.
I think they're close enough and we like them enough that the question for me is which one, not that either will, but which one could be the quarterback one. Neither of them are
I think it's Hurts over Wilson.
I think it's Wilson over Hurts. And that's the only way you're going to decide between those two because they're both pretty good.
Yep.
I would rather bet on the accuracy, but the running is probably the better way to go.
In DLF Superflex rankings, they are currently quarterback 8 and quarterback 9.
Yeah, they're next to each other. Yeah.
We go back to the gelato place, and you
at least you get an ice cream.
Get your 4 flavors of gelato.
About you, by the way.
Flip the coin that you get back and change. Make sure that you have cash because this doesn't work if you have plastic.
Can't flip a credit card that well
unless your plan is to go get the gelato with the plastic, realize you didn't have cash, go back out, go to the bank, get another gelato, which I'm all for. So you have the coin.
Would you get the same thing because
no,
you like
absolutely,
it that much, or would you change it up?
There are like 40 flavors at Gelato Fiasco on Main Street in Brunswick. We're going to get at least 8 or 10 different flavors. We're going to get 4 or 5 in each one.
Because I know you like your banana split. You like it the way you like it. So I don't know if you'd go back for the same or if you would change it.
No, I'm a mix and match gelato guy. As long as it's got something with chocolate, and then whatever I've got that has orange in it, I want to put next to the chocolate, and then we can have at it.
I just like plain vanilla ice cream. Suit me. The coffee I just went and got, by the way, was the stuff at the very bottom of the pot. And God damn, that made my eyes kind of.
Good morning, Peter.
Water a little bit. Woo! Ballad of the Bards. That seems familiar. 10-team, 2-quarterback PPR. Start 10. Gabriel Davis, Alan Lazard, Devontae Smith. For a 23 first, Boyd, and a 23 third. This seems like everyone's favorite sleeper plus Devontae Smith for a first. You know?
Yeah.
Smith or a first is the real question for me here.
I mean, I'd rather have the first over Smith. I think you can get more for that package than what you're getting.
Yeah, I don't.
Boyd and the 23 third don't really do much for me.
Yeah.
No.
But like Gabe Davis,
Smith
I feel
is
like we should be doing more than this with him.
That's the thing. He's ranked that high, and you can't get anyone to do that, though.
But there's usually like a person in your league who's that Gabe Davis person.
This
wasn't that.
go to everybody in your league. Look at their Twitter handle. See who follows PFF. And there you go. And then trade Gabe Davis to them.
I want to check something. Nick. I feel like
and
Davis
especially
is one of
like
those
PFF underscore Moo.
Yeah, he's a fan. I feel like
I got videos of Gabe Davis lifting weights. I'm like this is where we're at with analytics. Like we're watching guys lift weights and like oohing and eyeing over their bench press.
He's wide receiver 40 in Superflex, but I thought his ADP would be kind of drastically different but it's not. It's consistent.
No, this is what we talked about with Jacob, where we're in redraft and in best ball, Gabe Davis is going really high, which is crazy. But in Dynasty, it's still tempered a little bit.
I mean, you should be getting something for Davis Lazard. Instead, this is just Smith for a first. And I would take Smith, but the first is fine if you just want to bet. It's a lean value. But Smith is one of the guys I'd go in on.
Yeah,
I would take Smith. But you're getting nothing for Gabriel Davis and Lazard in this trade.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Feels weird. I don't know.
I mean, I'd do it, but I feel like you're giving up two things that someone would pay a second for, at least, for nothing. So maybe I'd reassess. Eric, Russ is somewhat correct that I want to trade Cousins away. I have Lance, Lamar, Wentz, and Mariota at quarterback. I really like Cousins, but I need an extra flex because right now I'll be starting Nico. That's not good.
Go for that. I'd go for the Elijah Moore one. I thought that was a good trade.
Okay. And I like Elijah Moore. I have Cooper Kupp. I'm rebuilding, but not sure how to go about trading him. It's a Russ question, I guess. Don't want to squander him. Thanks for thinking of trying to target young wide receiver like Smith and a 23 first, but is that too much? It shouldn't be,
enough.
But yeah.
Sorry, I got overexcited.
No, go. Take the ball. Do I look like a man who's comfortable when he's holding the ball?
Yeah, no, that's honestly, you want at least what feels like two solid firsts to feel good walking away. And we were just saying that Devonta Smith plus a little is worth a late first. I honestly add at least a second to it, or another player that not like Keenan Allen, someone who's not necessarily worth a first, but will score the points of someone who is. Just to you're rebuilding. Never mind. Sorry. Man, that's rough.
Is it just a Smith thing? Because to me, I would like that trade because I'm probably maybe a little. I like Smith a little bit more. So what about Deontay?
I like Smith, but I just think value-wise,
I know
you should be getting a little bit more. Like maybe just a second more, but it doesn't have to be a pick just because you're rebuilding. If you can Kadarius Toney it, like not specifically him, but like the second-year wide receiver who showed a bit of a flash, but did it like the same thing with Smith, but just not to his level.
That's what I'm asking. Like, which player is it if it's not Smith for you? Like, is Deontay?
Oh no, I'm talking about adding.
Yeah. You may add a whole new player to it.
Yes, I want at least a second value on top of Smith and a first.
Okay, I would do that. But a second isn't enough to make me say no, so I'm good here. Smith and a first, Elijah Moore on a first. any of the players that I mentioned earlier on the list, and a first would be fine if it's a 2023 first. But Russ is a hell of a lot better at managing value, and you probably are not getting quite enough back. Cooper Cup's going to be another top 5 scorer this year. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
so, like,
and
if you can't get it, be like, well, we'll see you week 3, bitches. When you want Cooper Cup to start, I mean, you can always plug that card because
don't rush.
He's really good. he's really good.
Have a market for him. Yeah.
223 first for Cup at minimum. Yep, I think that's pretty good value. It should be 3, but he's old, and Dynasty people suck.
Yes, that is the unfortunate. And he's a
which is where you play the we'll see week 3 bitches card. You don't have to say bitches if you're uncomfortable with the word. It's fine. Paul, I'm in a league with someone.
Remember when they first they were so much fun with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. I'm in a league with someone who also wants a Dynasty Grind. Watches a Dynasty Grind. Well, awesome. We have more than 2 viewers. Look at that. How am I supposed to get an advantage? I mean,
so you need to go
many different ways.
To hotmail.com, create a burner email account, use that burner email account to sign up for a YouTube account, come in without your name, Paul, so Eric has no idea that it's you.
Well, there's also just, we get stuff wrong. And
I mean, that also helps.
You go over to the Trade Addicts pod, and you go over to the Dynasty Dummies, and you go over to the Dynasty Crossroads, and you listen to all of them. That's how you do it.
Well, also, it's not like you're going to agree with everything. It's not like he's going to agree with anything. Otherwise, like the minute Matthew Berry did something, we'd all think the same thing.
Well, and
I know that wasn't a serious question, but that's where I took it.
That's kind of the whole idea of what we're doing and why we are now on 49 minutes or 48 minutes behind.
Yeah, sure.
We are. Oh, sorry.
but that's why we're 48 minutes behind, Paul, because we're not necessarily telling you how to do things, even though you ask us specific questions. We go into the theory behind it because we're trying to teach you how we make decisions. So you can either take pieces of that you like, or say, no, you guys are ridiculous. Let me do things this way. So we're trying to kind of teach you the process rather than just give you the answer. So hopefully you take something from it a little differently than Eric does. And you guys can both kind of...
Yeah, nothing about... full disclosure, I don't know if this matters, but I come here to steal ideas too. Like, I'm live editing my position ranks while I listen to Zach and Russ talk. I'm like, oh yeah, I should really. If someone feels that strongly about Sutton and I like him, I gotta move him up.
We're all in the same boat. Yeah.
Like,
I'm just here for the cake and ice cream. You promised me cake and ice cream. Right?
I was told there'd be pine punch.
I would probably make better content, or be popular, or maybe even make some money if I was able to say there was an answer, but I don't have an answer. I try to get better at thinking about it and then adjust as I go to try and get more right. So I think that's relevant to that question, even though it's a very funny question. I really like this brackets. Eric, I found this first. Bugger off. I like the fact you said bugger. Traded James Conner and 23 seconds for Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh wow, great.
I like that, Joel. I don't care that some peeps don't like you trading your second. I don't care about that second right now. I can always buy a second on credit.
I just want to do let's do it, prepare a clip. There is no point in time where you should not be willing to pay for Hollywood Brown's value. I've been saying it for 2 years, so I just stopped saying it. I'm bored of saying it. That's how much of he's Brandon Cooks 5 years before he's too old to be interesting in Dynasty. It's perpetual. He's Jarvis Landry, but he plays on the outside. I don't know why we don't like him, but we don't like him, and his value is always good. It will always be good.
He's so thin, Peter.
Always just trade
his BMI, Peter.
I mean, we've got all these other player targets, and they're all true, but it's mostly because he's not on the list just because we're bored of saying him. Just to be real clear, he is always on the list. We just have got bored of mentioning him. So, great trade.
BMI.
How is this Hollywood Brown's value? He finally did the impossible.
I agree with you on that one.
I was told it was impossible. And now everyone thinks the Bateman can happen because Hollywood did half the increase that he has to do to get there. But Hollywood is still bad. He's very... I'm done with this.
I like
we're back to Jarvis Landry, man. I'm not going to point it out anymore. I'm just going to keep adding him to my teams. I'm done. If you don't get it yet,
you fired up Peter because you made a trade that he loved.
Yeah,
like,
I love
you
it.
just got him.
That trade's so good it makes me mad. Like that shouldn't happen. Like, try getting Devontae Smith for James Conner in a second. Like, why am I trying to trade for anyone else? I'm not. I'm gonna go get some more Brown. Jason, 12-team Superflex tight end premium. What are we doing with Kittle? Shaking hands and saying thank you for all the good stuff you do, sir. I enjoy the way you play football.
He seems awesome.
Yeah, he seems pretty awesome actually.
His value's going down, and I'm a little with it, but like honestly, I think it's getting to the point where I like him again. Like,
yeah,
his injury history does worry me. I'm never going to be able to pretend to predict it, but based on what we've seen, playing a full season might be out of the realm of reality for him. But I'm not worried because of Lance, if anything. So if that's what you're worried about, I'm not worried for that reason, because San Francisco, they're not changing their offense too much. It's still going to be based on yards after the catch, and Kittle is still the best tight end at that. So I don't think you have to worry about that.
He's one of those few tight ends, and the minute I can get him for something outside of that price, I'm doing it. I can get him for a single first.
He will continue to be top 3-4 points per game tight end.
Yeah. And
oh, by the way, both of my AJ Brown for Sutton trades got rejected.
God, we should change the. We shouldn't change the language, but saying I got rejected always kind of hurts my soul a little bit. Trade rejected. Oh.
There's some scarring right over here that protects me from that. So.
Oh, that's fair. It's that callous, right? Yeah. Just been.
I mean, you couldn't tell that they pointed and laughed.
Well, I mean, one of them was to John Bosch, so I knew that was going to get
he definitely pointed and laughed.
I don't know if John has ever just accepted one of my trades.
What's your target RAM for trading in a Superflex startup draft? Non-tight end premium. I got Kyler at 107, Javonte at 206 so far. It's a slow draft. I don't know. I understand the question.
Every single round.
Yeah. I like Zach's idea, actually. That's probably an answer we can put on. This year, what you do is what I call it is bifurcate. You want to trade up into the first 3 and out of the rounds. What was it, Zach? Like 4 to 6? You want to trade like for picks on either side of those, like you want to go up and then you want outside of the sleeper range, you know.
And I think you can with the 23 first, if they're in your draft. I want to be trading into the range where those are. So I want to be trading up into that early, you know, the first and second, but then I want to be trading into wherever, what is it, the 4th or 5th, where the 23 firsts are going. So I can get a team that's really good this year, but I'm also reloading.
Like this is a bad. I keep saying it's a bad year for Dynasty because it gets across what I'm trying to say, but it's not like it's not going to be a great football year, and we're not going to have really. The running back position is going to score more points this year. It's going to feel great. For example, we're going to have 2nd and 3rd year breakouts. It's going to be a great year, but for drafting or building a team, there's some odd little things I don't like it. And what I would normally do won't work, I think. So I like the idea of trying to draft a startup draft as if you're playing for next season. And I think you can still be competitive this year doing it. And that's why I like Zach's idea of going for the picks and going for the studs at the top and doing whatever you have to do to like evacuate those mid picks.
It's a really easy year to do a startup the way I like to do a startup, where you get young wide receivers and then you know, worry about your running backs going forward in that next draft.
Yes, sir. Buck. Just traded Mixon for Wentz, Pittman, and 225 seconds.
Wow.
Mixon.
I like that.
And a 24
I mean, I
first.
like Mixon this year, and I still would do that.
Yeah. I would probably trade Pittman after that. But I
know the seconds are way out, but like I still like
seconds.
that.
Yeah,
that's the way to.
I'd be a little happier if it was Superflex. I just realized it wasn't, but
That's
Mixon and Pittman, like by end of season, won't be very far apart. Plus, that's a lot of seconds.
We've talked about this before and over again because it's a common Dynasty thing, and this is a Dynasty grind, I guess. But we're always talking about the 23 draft or the 22 draft. And honestly, in Dynasty, if you're going that route, you kind of have to go way too insane out at this point. Because like Zach and J Mike said in their podcast not so long ago, like people are just more aware. They're already trading 2 years out. 25 is a little too far out. Like that trade I asked you guys about where it was a 25 first for what some depth running back who could be the starter or something. It was clearly the pick, but it's so far out. The league might fold by then.
Right.
But you just it's weird, but you do it kind of a thing.
Oh, Nicholas, round 4 is not too early.
No.
Okay. Breece Hall currently in Superflex ADP is going somewhere between pick 33 and 35. So that's third round.
I think Breece Hall's the canary in the coal mine. Yeah, when you see him wherever he is in ADP, you want to go a little ahead of that.
Yeah,
you know, kind of a thing.
Well, like, so if he's going in the late third, a fourth is not I would do that to get a 23 first.
That's fine. Cody, sorry. I'm sure we're not fans of 25 picks. Yeah, it's awkward, but it's fine. But I've been out on CH and wanted to get rid of him. Go to 25 first. I love what it is.
I don't mind getting a first for CH.
I love it.
The thing I try to remind myself when I trade, when picks are getting thrown around that late, it's like we work 2 years out. So this time next year won't feel nearly as far out, even though it is still pretty far out, you know?
Right.
That's why I like about 24 picks. This time next year, they won't be 2 years away. They'll be next year's picks that people might want to be trading for. Well, that's the way I try and think of it anyway. Sky Moore or Gibson. Sky Moore and Gibson or AJ Brown.
That's AJ Brown. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Really like that one, actually. 10-team Superflex. Waddle, ETN, Garrett Wilson for Chase. Ooh, yeah, Waddle side. But I hate that.
10-team.
I'm taking Chase.
I think I want Chase.
God damn it. I just can't get it right, I guess. But
no, that's close, Peter. But I take the wide receiver 1 overall in a 10-team where you're trying to consolidate. Because I am not as big a believer in ETN as a lot of people are. I was the guy who said when ETN gets where he is, which is now, where he's a top 12, 13 running back. Yeah,
I agree.
And look, Wilson is nice, but he's not my favorite receiver in a class that is definitely not my favorite class. I'll take Chase. It's close, but I'll take Chase.
Yeah. I think it's a good trade, but I think I prefer Chase in this format.
Unless you want to turn around and trade Etienne and Wilson for somebody, like that may be a play.
That's a
like
fun
get
idea.
Waddle, turn around, trade Etienne and Wilson, and go get somebody else that you like. But
yeah, if you could like pull that into someone
AJ Brown
on the upside, like if you can go get Higgins, that's awesome. But like DK.
But that's one that if I'm gonna get the Waddle side, I'm not done trading.
Yeah. You have to.
If I get the Chase side, I'm gonna go.
Go take
pop a nice cold soda and put my feet up and be like, Bengals.
Should probably try to condense to upside in a 10-team. That's fair. Ayuk to the moon. Yeah, I think it's really good value this year. It's fine. In 2023, what would be Godwin's value? Yeah.
I think he is good enough that it doesn't matter. He did great with Jameis.
He's a low target share player, which worries me a little bit. He's always been a little efficient. But it's okay. Especially where he's at right now. Yeah. You don't care about that, I know. But that's one of the reasons I'm kind of out. Like, it needs to be an effective offense. He needs to be able to be efficient.
Well, he was at a low target.
But he has been with Winston and as well. He was efficient. So it's not like the QB is that sensitive. He was able to do it with lesser quarterbacks as well. So I think it's okay. 1 QB, half-point PPR. Hawkinson or Sutton?
Sutton, because I just don't care about tight ends if they're not the elite, and I still just
Yeah.
want Taek to be there. I just don't think he's going to do it.
That's same. Sean, Clinton, I like the package of a Chase, but I play 12 team. Yeah, I think that's the kicker there. In a 10 team, they're right. In the stud.
Yep.
I'm in a full rebuild, feeling like 23 is the year to push all my chips in. Yeah, it's a good year if you have draft capital there. You really want to push for it. Ayuk or Hunt, MVS, and a 23 late second.
Ayuk.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't.
It's basically Hunt in the second, which is basically just Hunt.
Yeah.
Take Hunt. Lean the wide receiver, to be honest. The hammer on the top players is a lot more valuable in a 10 team. Yep. See, they know. I don't know why they're here listening to us say it, but I appreciate you for doing it. Got Pickett, Hall, Moon, Moore. Which Moore? Which Williams? London Walker this year. Needs some quarterback help, but I feel pretty good about where I'll be in 23. Yeah, I like that list of players.
That's Sky Moore, Peter.
Words.
And Jameson Williams, because it's rookies.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Adam, I'm not competing necessarily. Josh Allen, Murray. This is a super
you are now
competing. Yeah. Deontay, London, Elijah Moore, Wilson, Pitts, Judy. I think.
What league are you not competing in?
I know they're all young, so it feels like, I'm just not good. But if you're not competing, then something's gone wrong.
Yeah, you find your way to get that one running back at the right time, and you have a great team. If one of those rookie wide receivers do well, not even great, just do well.
London, Judy, go get a really good running back. I wouldn't mind bleeding that at all, and your team would still be resplendent.
It's a really,
frankly,
really good core of a team, though.
Yeah. I mean, there are a million ways to do it. Not you only do that trade, but yeah.
This is explaining another pick, another trade. I mean,
I think my pick will be top 6. Not if this is your team, dude. His team is dependent on Godwin, Watson, and others play.
That was the 12-team Superflex, 1 PPR. Give Deontay and Watkins get a 23 first and a third. That's the team that doesn't have running backs.
Give Deontay. Yeah.
Give Deontay and Watkins.
I think you
and get a 23 first.
Was it Superflex?
12-team Superflex.
I think you're more competitive than you think you are. Running backs are the thing and the whole of the thing. I get it. But especially in a super flex, you can kick ass while making up running back. And you got the team to do it. You don't have to bleed too much to try. Kyler or Dobbins, 23 first and a 24 first. Super flex got to be Kyler Murray or Dobbins and 2 firsts separated by a year. 1 in each of the next 2. I just take Kyler, right?
Yeah,
that's the right value, but you take the
so, but it's pretty close. But
3 first, yeah.
Without a QB coming back, I don't know what I can do. Just I love Kyler, and his value is. I mean, this is really good value for Kyler.
It's honestly, I'm a sick man. It's honestly kind of fun watching Russ trying to admit he would trade away players he likes because he's really struggling with J.K. Dobbins.
23 first.
I mean, no, it's a wonderful thing. Don't get me wrong. I like
it's really
because I've done it. I've done it this show.
If you have an active league and you think you can do something not with that 23 first to go get another quarterback at some point, then yes. Trade Kyler away for this package because it's a very good value for Kyler.
But that to me is the rub, though, is sometimes you've got to simplify things. To me, when I look at trades, sometimes I look at trades and say, okay, I've already got a top 5 quarterback. How can I replace a top 5 quarterback with this? And the answer is you got to get really lucky. And so I'm going to keep the top 5 quarterback in a super flex.
The only asterisk is if you don't think Kyler Murray is a top 5 quarterback while you're on your own.
No, like your team has to be very
that would
weak.
be the...
Yeah, I mean, if your team is terrible, then yeah, go for it and rebuild. That's fine. But know that you're going to be terrible until you get another quarterback too.
And there's not too many top 5s coming down the pipe.
No, they're about 5 a year.
It's amazing how people forget that. Brandon Carmichael, 12-team Superflex tight end premium. Kelsey and Cup or
Kelsey and Cup
and a 23 first. Yeah.
Just go win. It's fine.
Kelsey sometimes it's okay to just try to win. In fact, all the time, and that's fine. Bob Gilchrist, rank these league formats. There you go. Brendan,
you didn't even give the league formats. You're just skipping.
Contract, salary, cap, bankroll.
No, I like blind bid and auction way better than those.
They're all like in joint last place.
It's the same. I love bankroll leagues. I was sad that the pigs folded.
And this is going to be blasphemous.
Well, you hate auctions. We know.
I don't care for them.
You don't like auctions in general, so you can't like them.
I don't care. Like,
I don't like these formats.
I don't care for them, and I'm really happy that people do, and I'm really glad that people play them and enjoy them. But I just don't. I don't like it. I don't care for it. So,
personal preference. I've never even played in a bankroll league. I've played in the salary cap once. I'm in one right now. I hate it. I hate looking at it. I hate trying to figure it out. And contract, I hate the same thing. That's the same thing.
Contract is straight contract is better than salary cap, and salary cap contracts just makes me want to cry. So if we're talking these three, it's bankroll, then contract, then salary cap.
But I'll tell you, if I'm playing fantasy baseball, I want any of those.
If I'm playing fantasy baseball, I don't want to play fantasy baseball.
What's baseball? Brendan, I have my core of Lance Brees, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, and 623 firsts.
I think you call
it the fact they get listed as part of your core. And no one else is relevant, ever. I think the energy coming off this one. Not competing this year. Would you look to buy anyone young? I mean, you're always just looking to add value if you're not trying to compete. So same list, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, whoever else. We mentioned
Zach,
Brandon Ayuk.
Would you, if you had 623 firsts, and with league years being what they are, and not really being able to tell most teams how they're going to end, would you just wait until week 5 till you saw how teams were shaking out before you traded any of these away?
Yeah, I don't think that there's any rush to trade them. I don't mind that. So you said Lance Brees, CD, DK, Freiermuth, no one else relevant.
Pretend you trade a 23 first, and even if it's for someone good, but then all of a sudden, week 3, something weird happens, and that becomes the 101. You kind of feel like a jerk,
right?
So and there's 6 of them, so it's just like, and if
I wouldn't be trading the first.
You're not competing. There's no rush to do any of that because it's the non-point scoring season where young players are worth a lot right now anyway. So I would wait.
And to your point, if you already know you're not competing, Brendan, then trading for players now doesn't do you any. There's no benefit to trading for players.
The only reason to do it would be if there's a player so undervalued that the minute the season starts and people remember that his value is suddenly going to be inaccessible. Like there's some reason that you expect that value to disappear. Like that's the only one I can think of. I guess Elijah Moore, once they start playing, is probably the best bet.
I like Elijah
because he's a little. Yeah, I like him too. I think he's.
But you're gonna get better. Better deals for those picks.
Yeah,
on the
that's
clock.
The thing.
So
there's no reason to trade a first for him. Yeah.
Relax. See if you can trade DK before the season. Get somebody younger, more insulated. I know that stinks for us, but
just no. If you're not going to compete, just wait till next year when his value is going to go up.
It won't go up
unless it doesn't.
It will go down this season, and then we'll have to wait to see him play.
They'll have to draft a quarterback, and then it will go up.
Yes,
I think it'll go down,
or sign a quarterback.
I think trading DK for all those young players is a good idea, but Jaws. I'm pretty sure that's an O. Jaws. Sermon is reportedly yoked.
Okay.
As can be from training camp.
Sermon
Still
was
hope.
always
Turning
gigantic.
two of
That's
him.
what he
Mostert or
was.
Jefferson.
So
not
Trey
new.
Sermon was my running back 12 out of 12.
You really did not like him.
13 last
Yeah.
year. Like he's not he
He's
he
not-
doesn't do anything. He got outplayed by Ramondre Stevenson and somebody else who I can't even remember in Oklahoma. And then went to Ohio State and wasn't great. And then he went to San Francisco and got overdrafted, and everyone was like, "Oh, look, he's great." And we're like, Elijah Mitchell is way better. Just in general was way better. And whatever. I drafted Jeff Wilson in the Scott Fish Bowl with Sermon still on the board after the Scott Fish Bowl is finished drafting 22 rounds, 12 team. Like, I just don't I don't see Sermon being.
It was really funny. Like, one of the funniest things I said to someone who didn't understand my joke. I have a friend who's a very big 49ers fan. He asked me how he should feel about them taking Sermon. And I said, "Do you like AJ Dillon?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, sort of." And I'm like, there's those people that love AJ Dillon for who he is and for what he is. Take that, but make him not good. How do you feel? Well,
Like, I'm
great.
looking at Samaje Perine or Trey Sermon, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm telling Kyle on
One, just trade for Elijah Mitchell instead. Two, camp reports. Come on, you know better.
That's all we
You
got.
know better, Jaws.
That's all we got.
Yeah, but Trey
We got
Sermon
nothing.
Trey Sermon is yoked, and Gabe Davis is bench pressing 792 pounds.
And there's
Three.
a lot of people
yeah.
doing
Players with more draft capital that are on the
Using the
waiver
slot
wire
machine.
should probably be added, but who cares? There we go.
Rondell
Mr.
Moore
Scamper,
squat
just-
600, just saying.
Get Rondell Moore. There you go. Eric, to Peter's point on the Denver Sutton, Judy, Patrick discussion, Sutton and Judy are only good as the points they score for you. In the last 2 seasons, Patrick has outscored them both.
It's because they've
Eric
both been
gets it.
hurt. Like, they
Shush.
can't score on the
Yeah,
IR, Eric.
No.
No. Okay.
Hush.
Noah
you already
Fant-
get the ADP and
Noah
everyone
Fant
talking about
And
it.
Sutton
I get this moment.
out-targeted Patrick last year, and on a per-game basis, I know we can't do per game, but Jerry Jeudy was hurt. He out-targeted Tim Patrick also.
Just not happy enough with the value and the ADP. Just go find some
Like,
salt
look,
and
Tim
brine.
Patrick
Why
is
don't you mention the
fine.
fact he's 29 years old? Why don't you throw that out there? Just cut me, why don't you? Just cut me on
This
air.
guy here is dead.
Cross
him off then.
Just Marlon Mack, also an option. I feel as uninterested in it. I do see a lot of Marlon Mack little comments here and there. I'm like, as someone who was on Team Marlon Mack for a while, they're defending him against Bobby Koch back in the day. Like,
Who's
I don't-
Marlon Mack?
I don't know why, and he wasn't Marlon Muh, was he? But he kind of is now.
Okay.
Like he's
I would rather cut 2 of the San Francisco backs. Oh no, is Mostert's not in San Francisco anymore, or is he?
He's in Miami.
Yeah, so
Miami.
I would cut Mostert and Sermon, keep Wilson and Mack, just because I think they have the better chance of taking over a backfield at some point in this season. Mack in Houston, who knows, that backfield is just completely what is it that JJ Zacharyson says? Ambiguous, yeah.
I'd rather just take a flyer on a younger guy. This is where Brian Robinson starts to interest me when you're talking about this level of running backs. I'm like, just to add that young guy who, why not? Phil? Yeah. Thanks for answering earlier. Would trading one of your late 23 first for Eckler as a hero RB work out well? Try not to trade 23 first. Try not to predict them as early late.
Well,
I know it's a good idea to make an estimate.
Well, but that was the trade that he got. He traded JT, got 3 firsts, and then I said it would be interesting to trade for one of the first to get.
I don't think Eckler is one of my targets. If that helps, that wouldn't. I like Eckler a lot, obviously, but he wouldn't be one of the ones I'd go out for.
No,
mainly,
I don't think he's got the ability to run away with
the job.
the QB, the RB1, which I think you like. I think like Barkley has that potential. I think CMC has that potential.
What does Eckler have to do? Huh?
Run away with the RB1?
He's come close enough to it. He's been RB3 for like the past 2 years.
It's top 5.
Go look at what running away like. Again, CMC, Kamara, and Barkley have outscored the next closest guy by 70 or 80 points in a season. That's what I'm talking about with, and like they're the only players that even have the potential to do that. Like even JT last year didn't do that.
I know. I agree.
So it's
I mean,
not
I'm
like
good. I called Eckler in his rookie season and got all this talk out earlier. Like I've already I've hit the head of the Eckler mountain. I think Zach Point is a fair one. Like he's a top 5 running back in a season. He's amazing. Barkley and CMC are like top 5 running backs in a decade, kind of a thing. Right. So yeah, that's kind of outside your target. He's like discount. He's honestly discount DeAndre Swift. Remains discount DeAndre Swift, so I like him, but his value's already up there, and he's an older and drafted free agent. So if you can get Barkley instead, I'd do that. But you try not to trade those 23 firsts, and if I'm going to spend one of them, it's Eckler's fine, but I think I can do a slightly better trade for Elijah Mitchell, who's drafted much later and has upside. That tends to be the way I run running back. I'm trying to catch those ones that are being drafted.
I still am throwing one at the Christian McCaffrey. Whoever has Christian McCaffrey and say, hey, I'll give you 23 first for McCaffrey and see what happens. McCaffrey in 2019 scored 471 points. Aaron Jones, RB2, scored 314. That's what I'm talking about, running away with the RB1.
I mean, just take the first and offer it to the first 5 running backs and see who takes it would be derp.
Wait, before you go, it's Russ's bedtime.
Okay.
So
you
happy birthday,
right
guy.
Right.
Love you both. And all you people out there.
Good night, Russ.
Night.
Pete, I got about a half hour left in me.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to
don't know.
roll
I got that in me. Yeah. I can do this. Derp and 10-team Superflex half-point PPR. I have too many above-average wide receivers. Judy, A-Rub, Sutton, Cooks, Terry. Sutton's the one you keep. I feel like that's going to be the question. But I feel like I have no star power. Sutton could be. That's why I'd keep him. What receivers could I tear up to? I mean,
if you're going to pair 23 first with a receiver, it's going to be McLaurin, I think, right? Out of those, because the rest of them are valued way less than what you're going to get out of points out of them. So to
he's
me,
asking who he should target, I think.
Right. Well, he's saying what receiver could I tier up to if I add a 23 first? So like if you went McLaurin and a 23 first, could we get up to like T. Higgins, get up to like Waddle? That's what I would be trying to do. CD Lamb. I don't know if you can get that high, but
yeah, this is the thing with 2022. If you want to tier up in value, it's Waddle. It's CD Lamb's a good one. T. Higgins, maybe, if you really like him. If you want to move across in age for value instead of tiering up, then you could go Ayuk, because he's a little younger than some of these guys. You could go Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith. But the answer for 2022, Diggs, yeah. That's the thing. The answer for 2022, I think, is more likely Diggs is on the outside. He's pretty high. Sutton, Juju, and maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown and Donald Mooney. Like, those are the guys who could a little younger, but mostly it's because they have that higher ceiling, I think.
Right. But it's McLaurin. It's McLaurin that I'm gonna pair the first with, though, to tier up. Because I think he's wide receiver 18 or so. I think he's your best bet to be able to get up into that, Higgins, Diggs, Waddle, that range.
That's fair. The best bet of getting upside at lower value, like I said, it is Juju, it's Sutton, it's older players in less in more icky dynasty values. And the other thing I'd say is, you add it to Terry, go get Waddle or CD. But you could also try and compare, buying some of these, see if you can get anyone interested, like Judy plus Cooks, see if you could get one of those other guys.
And the other thing, though, when you look at this, where he says, I've got too many above average wide receivers, like, okay, so you don't have a wide receiver 1, but you have 4 wide receiver 2s, whereas other teams have a wide receiver 1, a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 3. So if you've got 4 wide receiver 2s, you're actually not as bad off as you think. And
I can see the impact in a 10 team, though, like we said earlier.
Yeah,
like
yep.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, the depth, that's what we've been playing in Scott Fishbowl for the last few weeks. Your brother, that's 0 wide receiver. Go for depth, try and grab some of those few that jump from nowhere at the bottom, which normally come from the running back position. So yeah, don't panic too much. But it's fine to try and go get one of those wide receiver 1s. And Mr. Scamper, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, half point PPR. Saquon, Allen Robinson for Gabe Davis and terrible. Get out of here,
Saquon.
Eric says, "Happy birthday, Zach." And that really
you, Eric.
Mr. Scampers. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Zach's spending his birthday with you guys. Like, seriously.
I am. And no better place.
I'm happy about it. Name not important. 12-team 1 QB PPR start 8. Murray or handcuffs in the running back position. Higgins, Juju, Ayuk, Elijah Moore, Rondo Moore.
Fantastic.
I think this is my team. Apart from the fact that I normally don't have Murray as my quarterback. Pitts is a good team, right? Recently switched to long-term redraft leagues, so I'm new to Dynasty. Any advice on how to handle these picks in season next off season? Yeah, probably got a few. Let me take a look at them right now. You are stocked, man. Like, I'm not worried you don't have running backs. Like, I like these wide receivers. They're good. You have all the draft capital. And like we were just talking about running backs, make smart moves to get the right running backs as time moves on. Don't panic on it. Because honestly, when you want running backs, more information is better. And we're going to know more by week 1 than by week 2 than by week 3. So I'm not so panicked. Start 8 is what my eye keeps getting drawn to. Like, you need studs in that format, right?
Yeah. And that's, so to me, what I would be looking to do is, and I know the 24 first aren't sexy, but you know, using some of those to tier up with your running back. So take Elijah Moore and a first and move up to, like, you know, that same area, Waddle, or you already get Higgins, so you can't move up to Higgins. But that, like, that's what I'm going to be looking to do on this team. And again, the one quarterback, if you're new to Dynasty long-term redraft, you've already got Murray. You don't need to worry about quarterbacks ever. Like, you don't. Like, you're set. And
what I would say, if you're all new to Dynasty as well, is don't move on the 23 first. You're probably never. It's going to seem crazy to them what you want for them. So just take those are probably picks. You're probably taking players in 23, which is actually fine according to what we've heard. But by the time 24 picks start getting traded, you'll probably find people a little more acclimatized to the value. So, yeah, I don't think you have to make too many moves. Just keep plugging those handcuffs to try and find your running backs. I like Zach's idea, though. If you can find trades, what I'd do is try and tear up a few of those wide receivers.
Yep.
Jalen Waddle is our go-to. I don't mind Deontay Johnson, but this year I'm not sure he's a tier up. You've already got Juju. Nah, and Waddle's probably the target. Waddle or Sutton or Stephon Diggs. Okay, moving on. JB took over an orphan and totally rebuilding. Wide receivers are decent with Waddle, Elijah Moore, Burks. Olave Pickens like it. But I'm being offered 3.23 seconds for Burks. No. Don't get... Multiple seconds is like the here's my junk drawer equivalent, but in picks. And it's fine. Yeah. I mean, you can acquire value that way, but not for... No. First aren't worth seconds just because 23 is meant to be a better draft class.
Right.
No. Thanks, guys. Paul Cicero, and I have struck a trade agreement during the show. Awesome. Cousins and a 24 first for Elijah Moore in a second. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sky or Mac Jones? Superflex, Mac Jones. Not Superflex, Skymo.
Yep.
Eric is back. Thanks, guys, for your help. A trade agreement has... Oh, well, I think that was mostly Russ and Zach, but obviously, I'm glad you got one done, though, man. I love Elijah Moore. Don't mind acquiring him in the slightest. Hey, Calvin, what's up? Russ, Peter, Zach. Just want to say I love this show. You guys rock. Thanks, man.
I gotta tell you, every time Cal drops in, it makes me happy. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite hosts in fantasy football dynasty. It does. I get the warm fuzzies, Cal. I appreciate you.
I don't. I hate you, Cal. Gator J, what up, guys? I didn't mean that, kid. Not much, Gator. How about yourself? Thanks for stopping by. Mr. Scampers. Hey again, Mr. Gator. I'm reading someone else's conversation. Apologies. Rebuild 12-team 1 QB with IDP. Looking to trade AJ Brown. What should I be looking to try and get? I'm keeping him at this point. He's gone up and down this offseason. I've been trading him. I've been keeping him. 223 specifically seconds in value is what you're looking for if you're trying to trade him.
No, first. It's not
first.
Seconds.
Sorry. Yeah.
Don't short AJ Brown.
I've been here too long. Yeah, you want 2 firsts in 23.
And I wish
those picks are worth more.
I wish, Gator, that Peter and I could help you more with the IDP part of that, but that's
but I don't.
Out of my realm. That's not. I don't play any in the IDP, and I appreciate people that do, but that's not my bag. It's kind of like bankroll leagues.
Yeah, I would say in this instance we can't, because all IDP does is expand the pool of players in this instance. So again, similar value would occur, I think.
But AJ Brown is the type of player that I am looking to acquire when I rebuild.
I like AJ Brown, but let me ask you: would you go Waddle or AJ Brown at their value?
Probably
if it was the same
Waddle.
Trade. Yeah, that's why I have him in it. I've traded AJ Brown for Waddle. That's the only way I've moved him.
Yep.
Or Sutton.
I think
CeeDee Lamb.
I think, and this may be galaxy braining it, but you're getting a similar upside, and you're gaining a year and a half, 2 years back in age.
Yeah.
So that's why I would do that. I do like what you said though about getting if you can get to 23 first, because if you're rebuilding, you're probably wanting to add multiple players, and so even if you don't spend those picks, Gator, you can use them to get more players. Than you can kind of diversify, as it were.
I have a lot of hope for him. I like AJ Brown's points, and I think he's young and good. I drafted him in the Scott Fishbowl, which is my redraft league, so that's why I keep mentioning it. It's just betting on this season. But in Dynasty, I always tend to side CeeDee Lamb. I side Jalen Waddle just because of the injury concern. But I really like him. Can you list 3 running backs in order you would take them in 12-team Superflex, not a tight end premium? Swift, Javonte, Breece Hall. Javonte Hall, Swift. Javonte
I
Swift,
think it's
Hall.
To me, it's the order that it's in. I think it's Swift, Javonte, Hall.
I think I have Javonte at the top. Yeah, I'd switch Javonte and Swift.
But again, even if you don't like Swift, Peter, and I know that you're not a huge Swift guy, he's worth more than those other players right now. So if we're in a super flex, in a draft, which I assume because Nicholas was talking about being in a draft, I would take Swift because I think I can get more for him. And I think that this season, I still think he outscores or is close to scoring Javonte and Hall, but I think I can get more for him if I trade him.
Yeah. Yeah, Swift is above Javonte right now. By a couple of picks.
And I think people are going to
Here's the thing. I think the minute... and Melvin Gordon's going to be a thing. He's being way underrated, but the minute Javonte does something well, it's going to be so exciting for a whole bunch of people. And I think his value is going to, escalate a ride. That's just the way I think of it. If I'm going that high up, I want some level of upside, and I think both don't have access to it in points, but Javonte could do in value. Like, people could go nuts. He's the next CMC. But maybe not. It's fairly close. All these guys are high ranked. I think the real lesson here is holes on the bottom of them. And Waller, Ertz, McBride, and a second. Ooh, Waller still, right?
I think I'd take Ertz, McBride in a second.
I'm squinting at it, put it that way.
I
mean, yeah, he's not Kelsey, so yeah, I guess yes.
Because I don't think Waller's the difference maker tight end that everyone is expecting. I think Ertz is actually a better tight end than people think. McBride is the heir apparent to Ertz and is very good. Plus, you get a second thrown in. I do that.
Yeah, it feels like you should be able to get something more.
Well, yeah, but Waller's old enough that people are. I mean, people are out on Kelsey because he's 32 or 33, and Waller's about that same age.
Kind of crazy. Costy tried doing productive struggle in one startup and ended up with a solid team, but only have Kyler and Superflex. Other QBs are Jimmy Graham is solid, maybe, and some rookies, but I do have 2 firsts next year and 2 seconds. Any advice? No, I mean, you try and productive struggle. So keep going down the list, right? Keep listening to the DLF main podcast show because, Ryan McDowell's literally on that, who pioneered, I believe, productive struggle, and they give good advice on it. So I think that would be a good show to listen to. And as you're trying something new, be prepared for it to be rocky. As far as what to do with your team, the only thing I can think of is if you're short QBs and you're building, again, the only maybe undervalued young QB I can think of right now is probably Mac Jones, but I don't want to give up those firsts because of the way you're building your team. So look for a good trade, but without trying to give up those firsts, which is going to be difficult at best since you don't have a QB to give back. I'll keep up the grind here just from what I know.
Yeah, and it depends on what you ended up with for the rest of your team. Like, I know that Superflex people are like, oh, you got to start 2 quarterbacks, or like you can honestly get away with. And I'm not saying that this is a great strategy, but like you can get away with, like, if you've got, a couple of those top tier running backs or wide receivers, like guys like Antonio Gibson and Nick Chubb and Kamara last year outscored your Goffs, your back end of that second tier of quarterbacks, Goff, Mayfield, whoever it is that's back there. So like, it's not the end of the world if you can go get a quarterback, like, and we always go back to these guys, but like Derek Carr or Cousins, who are undervalued, who are going to put up numbers for not those first, then you go do that. But if not, then relax. Those first will get you either a quarterback in the next draft class, or you'll be able to trade them to get pieces that will help you.
And the thing is about productive struggle, it's ongoing. You're always looking to add value over anything else, and eventually you hopefully find your place in a position where you can just pounce, kind of a thing. So listen to the DLF main podcast. I would recommend the DLF forum as well. I'm getting a little lax, but I try and get on there every day and answer any question I see posted. It's a free part of the DLF. I'm not advocating paying for anything, but people just post questions and trades. And if you're just starting to get into it, it's a good place to meet people, and Mike and some other people answer questions. Because right now all I know is you got 2 firsts, Jimmy and Kyler, and I can't think of anything off my top of my head you should definitely go and do. Except for that sounds like a solid base at least, so keep it up. Jay, 12 team 1 QB PPR, roster 16, start 8. I don't know what that give is. Emoji. Give London, Stevenson, and Sun God 23 second. Get DJ Moore. The TDP, is that Green Bay fella? Backup running back. I've seen that acronym TDP. I think it's a backup running back somewhere people are excited about. Sleepers suck, by the way. And then a 23 first. I think London and Amon-Ra and Stevenson are too much to give up for DJ Moore on the first, right? I think that's what this boils down to, roughly.
I think I'd rather have DJ Moore in the first, but it's
Yeah, when I said it, I was like, I like Ross St. Brown and Stevenson quite a bit, but you're not wrong.
So much hinges on if Ramondre Stevenson is the lead back in New England, which there was a report today that he's running with the ones, but I also saw a report for 2 years in a row that Damian Harris was running with the ones when Sony Michel was still the lead back, and he was only running with the ones after they traded Sony.
You know what it is? I see a player that I don't think should be have value being traded with as if he has value, and I immediately take the opposite side. No, I think you're right. It's DJ Moore on the first over the other side. I don't know. Amon-Ra St. Brown's probably going to score in the same range. I'm not a big fan of him. Yeah, it's DJ Moore on the first, but
I mean, it's close.
Oh, the rest of his team. Kyler, Jimmy G, Saquon, Aaron Jones, Elijah Mitchell, Ayuk, Debo, Devontae, Waddle, and Fant is my roster. You're competing this year, Costi. Good job, productive struggling, since you have future value and that roster. You've got two top 12 running backs.
It's Ty Davis Price is TDP. It just, I don't know why I put it.
Top 50, maybe top 12 running back in Mitchell, and then a solid wide receiver core. I think you're competing this year. I think you can do better than Fant. Maybe try and add a Hunter Henry in a part of another trade, or search out Trey McBride in part of another trade, trying to sneak him in as a second round value somewhere. But I think this roster's competitive outside that second quarterback. And like Zach said, it's not necessary.
Right.
As the season goes on, by week 3, if it doesn't look like you're a strong contender, you can start selling some of these running backs who are scoring points, try and shop for value to get a QB2. That would be my plan.
And the other way around is if you are competing, then you can start looking at trading those picks and bolstering. But honestly, if Aaron Jones and Saquon are Aaron Jones and Saquon to start, then Elijah Mitchell becomes your QB2, which is okay. You know what I mean? That's not the end of the world.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Joe, you missed Russ, Joe. Or maybe you did. This was
I think she just got here for Russ. She was 5 minutes of Russ.
Appreciate you, Joe. Thanks for coming in. Josh, 8-team PPR, 16-team league. Damn, start 8, sorry. Hurt, CMC, Cook, Penny. What's the question here? Got the 107 in a trade. What should I do with it? Trade it away if you can, to be honest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, at the 107, I'm considering David Bell, and that's really bad value. Trying to trade back to get Trey McBride, considering your quarter tight ends and something. I won out of the 2022 rookies. Otherwise, you take the best player that's available, more likely to score points, which is probably Sky Moore Pickens around there.
I mean, you're going to end up with, to me, the top of that draft is Breece Hall, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jamison Williams, Olave. So there's 6. And then you're going to get one of Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, Sky Moore, David Bell. So there are players to kind of, look at. But as like Peter said, if you can trade that and get somebody interested in, acquiring that pick, that's what I would do. But there are going to be players that we like in that 107 range anyway.
Well, he calls himself a win now. Is there a player you would trade it straight? There's a bunch. I would trade that pick straight up for. That's on more one now. Keel. Would you do it for not Landry? I like Landry.
No, Landry's,
but that's too much.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson?
I think you could get Allen Robinson for less than a first.
How about Sutton in that? I mean, some leagues, maybe.
I think Sutton's in that conversation. I think Juju's definitely in that conversation.
But Probably a little too high, but those are the ones that occur to me straight away for a
Like
win there.
Judy's probably in that conversation. St. Brown is probably in that conversation.
Oh,
I guess
I'd do that.
Yeah, like Allen Robinson's close to there. Like you maybe do like 107 for Allen Robinson in a second or something like that. Like that I would do. But you're right in that range. So
yeah. So if you can't get one of those trades, make the pick, you know. But those are players I'd be looking for. Is there a running back? Elijah Mitchell, maybe.
Mitchell's probably the guy right around that area.
Traded away Brees Hall for Olave, 223 first. Competing team, but I have ETN, Javonte, and Fournette at running back.
2 firsts for Hall?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would have traded the pick to get Hall pretty close to straight up for a first. To get 223 first, I'm really excited about it.
For Olave and 223 first.
Yeah, you got Olave back. Yep.
Hat tip, my friend.
You basically traded the 101 for like the 105 and 2 firsts, which is nice.
Paul, Fant's weird. I was hiring him to start the off season because I felt everyone was, dismissing the fact he's one of those usable tight ends. He's going to be in Seattle, but they'll target the position as long as Fant's in it. But he's one of those usable tight ends, part of your streaming core. Unfortunately, that's what he's probably going to be in Fant right now.
If only we had some way to see what Noah Fant would look like with Drew Lock at quarterback.
Yeah. That's exactly the answer. But the thing is, there are other guys I'd target even at the position of a Fant. So he's a really weird rank right now. But I think if I'm rostering him, I feel fine.
He's going to be a top 10 tight end.
Yeah,
or right around there, like back end top 10.
Yeah. Brandon, DK or a 24 third and a 24 third for Ayuk and a 24. Yes, Ayuk in the first. Right?
I don't think I'm doing it for 24 first. If it was a 20, again, so it's basically Ayuk in a second for DK in a third. I think I'd rather have DK in that. I think I can get more for DK there. If you're on the Ayuk side, if you're getting DK, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'm probably playing too much for my projection if I take the Ayuk side there, because I do think Ayuk feels better to roster this year, because DK is going to disappoint even if he outscores him. But I
agree with that, but I think you can get more than Ayuk. Again, we're doing the value game versus the value, because there are 3 different types of value. So we're talking 2 different types of value, Peter. But
you got it. Peter, I heard really smart analysts that talk about Gabe Davis and vacated targets. Thoughts on this phenomenon? I never heard about it. I'll do some research and get back to you. Joe, this is a bait, but I keep saying this in shorter and shorter formats. Let's see. Vacated targets don't exist, but clearly the players on the team still exist. So you got to figure out what the balance of the offense is going to be with the players who are currently on the team. I expect Buffalo to pass less. Now it doesn't have 3 wide receivers who can earn over a 12% target share, something Gabe Davis has never done. He would have to escalate the average jump into the top 24 in terms of target share by about 3x in order to hit the top 24. So I think it's less likely. He should have a bigger role, though. I mean, think Cole Beasley last year. Literally. Julio Jones or Curtis Samuel? Julio. One more for the old school,
Yep.
Steven, Dynasty PPR trade. I would be giving up Nick Chubb and Keenan Allen. I don't like it then. I receive Barkley and Sutton. Oh, I like it. That's awesome.
Let's do that.
Yeah. What up, buds? I have Akers and Dobbins looking to trade one who has more perceived value. Akers or Dobbins, which one has more perceived value? I think they're both fairly well valued, the top 24 running backs. Those guys tend to be overvalued in general, so both could be said to be perceived as more valuable than they are. It's all about the trade, though. If I'm getting one of those wide receivers we keep mentioning that are young in the second year plus, then I'm interested in trading either of those running backs as top 24 guys. For that,
It looks to me like currently Akers is more valued in the community, and so he's probably the one that has the more perceived value. And to me, it's a push on which one I want. I'd probably want Akers a little bit more, but
that's the thing. I think top 24 running back is more replaceable than we think of it. Even though these are two great running backs, it's just more replaceable than we think. It doesn't beat wide receiver top 24 in the flex, for example. In that way, they're both probably perceived to be more value. But yeah, and Zach's right. Akers goes first, so he's probably the most likely. Happy birthday, Zach.
Thank you.
Joe says happy birthday.
I'm a Leo, Joe. Sorry.
I heard one of Pittsburgh's beat writers say Pickens is the man from day one. I think Pickens' problem is one, the depth chart. He's got to work his way onto it, but he will. And then two is off field, which is hard to know. But Pittsburgh's got a history of working with those and getting them on the field. So I like Pickens a lot as his value currently sits. What do you think of beat writers when they say stuff like that? You normally talk about how they're being used in practice. That's the only way you really think of it.
It's like how he's being used in practice with Deontay Johnson not on the field.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, it's like 3 days into training camp where, Pickens and Pickett probably had a rookie training, rookie camp and mini camp and all, like whatever. Like I'm not now. What I will say,
good news is good news, but bad news is not bad news either.
So what I will say is continue to listen. And if you hear Pickens and you hear Pickens and you hear Pickens, then it's Cecil Lammy and Sigmund Bloom talk about the drumbeat and Matt Waldman. And that's, to me, what you're listening for. You're not listening for one instance of a report by a single reporter. You're looking for continued. It was who was the running back in Denver 4 or 5 years ago that you loved that was the undrafted free agent?
CJ Procise?
Nope.
No, that was Seattle. CJ Anderson?
Nope. Curly hair, little guy. Went to school in Colorado. For whatever reason, I keep wanting to say Eckler, but it's not Eckler. But he was a similar. But anyway, there was a throughout training camp, there was this talk of him being, looking really good, and then he played well in the second preseason game, and so all of a sudden he came in and had a top 14 season, and so it's that. No, it wasn't CJ Anderson. Okay. I'll come up with it in a minute, Peter. But that's the type of thing that I'm looking for, is that drumbeat. So not necessarily one instance of a beat writer saying something, but multiple. And Philip Lindsay is the player, and so but that was the thing, is you heard Philip Lindsay's name in training camp, and then you heard Philip Lindsay's name as potentially getting run in preseason games, and then all of a sudden in the second preseason game he was really good in his touches, and then eventually he was running back 13 in PPR that year. So that's what you're listening for, is multiple instances. It's a drumbeat, not just a. Sorry, you distracted me with Cal saying that's why he likes me better.
Yeah, Cal likes you better, which is the thing we both knew. 10-team Superflex PPR, start 9. Offer Josh Allen, Swift, and Elijah Moore for Burrow, Rashad, Mac Jones, AJ Brown, and a first. Phew, that's a lot. Let's see. Allen over Burrow, Swift over White, Moore on Mac Jones is a little. No,
I'd rather have the Allen side. I think. I know he says deep at wide receiver and light at running back.
Guess you could get a first and a 20th and AJ Brown on top, though.
Well, no, because you got it's Allen over Jones or Burrow,
Mhm.
like by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Swift or AJ Brown?
AJ Brown, that's the thing.
But value doesn't say that. Value says Swift. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's close.
You get the first is the thing. It's close, but you're right. If in doubt, just lean the stud, and that's Josh Allen in this context. So,
But that's not. I mean, I guess that's not a bad one. I don't mind the Burrow. You get in Superflex, you get 2 quarterbacks back, so that's nice. Burrow, Jones,
and a first.
I'm deep at
23.
wide receiver, but light at running back. I still have 623 first, so you'll be heavy at running back next year.
They're coming. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's close. I think we'll lean Josh Allen. Lamb and a 23 first or Chase. Ooh, close.
That one's a split it. That's a go for ice cream. Man.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna say Lamb in the first because I think Lamb's fine. He's not Chase, and you just get a little on top there. Not knowing anything about the league, I can't split it that way.
I mean,
Not
that's.
like
I mean, I
the
think
stud.
that's that's pretty good value.
That's pretty even.
Like that's pretty much what Chase is worth. 3 firsts. Lamb is probably 2 firsts, and a first is worth about a first.
Yeah.
So
go get an ice cream, flip a coin. Yeah. 49ers, not Green Bay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Tyrion
yeah,
Price Davis. That's what yeah.
Wilson or Waddle in round 3 of a Superflex? That's a good question. I thought Wilson went early in that.
It's probably Wilson in a Superflex.
Yeah, it's
I
probably
hate
Wilson.
to say that, but
Wilson goes round 1 in a Superflex, so
Yeah.
he's fallen there. Waddle goes round 2, I think. So both of these guys have fallen. See if you could trade into an extra pick. No, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wilson.
no, Waddle's like a third to fourth round in the Superflex, and Wilson's a top 10. So
Yeah. Take Wilson.
assuming it's Russell and not like Albert. It's a reach. You got to go get your guy, but maybe not in the 4th.
Tim Shady, should they be trading a questionable running back too, like Antonio Gibson for Lenny? Yes.
Yeah.
Plus. Lenny plus, yeah. Guys, been out all day. Any good camp nuggets to chew on? There's a catch from Traylon Burks that you really should
That's
go
what
watch.
she said. I know Traylon Burks is doing fine.
I mean, I know this is a weird, like, it was an awesome catch and pretty good throw. It bombed down. And his hamstrings made me feel like less of a man. I'll say that. He looks pretty good in motion. Yeah. I know Traylon Burks is doing fine. Yeah, that's probably my main takeaway. I was going to trade Dobbins and Amari Cooper for Cup and James Conner. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, Cooper Cup over. Yeah. Zach is busy, so I get to answer that one. Joe, Jimmy G did not do great. Yeah, separate conversation. Philip Lindsay, Scampers new. Look at that.
Yep. Thank you, Scampers. Appreciate you.
So did Paul. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Alan,
you let me get to the end, you fools. I like Lamb in the 23 first over Chase. Yeah, me too. Lamb, I really think Lamb should break into the top 12. Chase should be top 5. Don't get me wrong. But if you get a 23 first on top of that, it's close to paying for the projection, which is where I think I'm fine saying it's a split the baby, flip a coin, have an ice cream. Zach's method seems to work.
Yeah, why don't we plus you get gelato?
I strongly lean Lamb though. Like he's the one I've made content about how he should be better, and the negative arguments on him don't make a lot of sense to me. So I sided that side just to stick with my takes, kind of a thing. But I mean, you're not sad if you keep Chase or get Chase there. It's fine. You concerned about Chase's touchdown rate at all, Zach?
I mean, it's what he's done forever. It's what he does, man. He scores. He's good.
For some reason that felt like a good setup. I don't know why. Really appreciate you all. Thanks very much. Happy birthday, Zach. Thanks for taking care and time to talk to us tonight.
I
outhouse
appreciate
as
you,
well.
but look over there.